podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. This show originally aired on the Premier Networks on Saturday, October 16th, 2021. This is episode 1837. Enjoy. The Tech Guy podcast is brought to you by Audible. Audible is the leading provider of spoken word entertainment. Delve into your next title on Audible with Audible Plus. New members can try Audible Plus for 30 days. Download the Audible app and get started with a free trial at audible.com/techguy or text Tech Guy to 500-500. And by userway.org. Userway ensures your website is accessible, ADA compliant, and helps your business avoid accessibility-related lawsuits. The perfect way to showcase your brand's commitment to millions of people with disabilities. It's not only the right thing to do, it's also the law. Go to userway.org/twit for 30% off Userway's AI-powered accessibility solution. And by CashFly. Give your users the seamless online experience they want. Power your site or app with CashFly's CDN and be 30% faster than the competition. Learn more at twit.cashfly.com. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy. Time to talk computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smartwatches, all that jazz. 8888 Ask Leo, the phone number. If you want to talk high tech, we're going to talk about home theater in a bit with Scott Wilkinson, our home theater geek. We shall talk about traveling better with technology. Johnny Jett will be here next hour. The Giz Wiz, Dick DeBartolo, Matt's maddest writer in the end with some sort of junky gadget that no one will want to buy except me because I'll probably buy a dozen of them, and that's how it goes. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the thing you need to know. That's how you get a hold of us. Talk tech with and when I say us, it is us finally. It's not the royal we, but my apprentice, Micah Sargent, is in studio, hailing from St. Joe, Missouri.
Yes, indeed.
By way of the internet. Micah hosts our shows on iOS and Smart Tech, and he does a news show with us, so he's an expert in all this stuff. And from finally, when I don't know the answer, I can blame Micah. It'll be your fault.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. Scapegoat.
Speaking of scapegoats. This is our weekly Tech Goes Wrong, when Tech Goes Wrong segment. There's a street in San Francisco. It's a dead-end street that for some reason Waymo cars are attracted to. It's in the Richmond district. According to Channel 5 News in San Francisco, this dead-end street has suddenly become crowded with Waymo vehicles. These are the self-driving cars from Google. I noticed it when I was sleeping, which is an interesting thing to notice when you're sleeping, says Jennifer King. I awoke to a strange hum, and I thought there was a spacecraft outside my bedroom window. The visitors, this is such a good story. Thank you, KPIX. The visitors Jennifer King is talking about don't just come at night. They come all day, right to the end of 15th Avenue, where there's nothing else to do but make some kind of multi-point turn and head out the way they came in. There are some days, she says, when there be up to 50 self-driving vehicles going, oops, and turning around out of the and of course I think they're all electric. They're Jaguar I-Paces, so I think they're all going and out. I think Waymo will fix this, but for some reason, something about their maps. And the good thing about self-driving cars is they don't just plow into the house at the end of the street. They at least know enough to say, never mind. The frequency of visits, says Channel 5 News, is sparking conversation in the neighborhood. But for now, this is the classic local news things. Only time will tell what's going on. We've talked to the drivers who don't have much to say. They have safety drivers, but they're along for the ride too. They don't They don't have much to say except the car is programmed and they're just doing their job. Where have we heard that before? I was just doing my job, man. It's going on for 6 or 8 weeks. Waymo says, we constantly adjust to a dynamic San Francisco road rules. In this case, cars traveling north of California Street on 15th Avenue have to take a U-turn. They must. They have no choice. The Waymos have got to take a U-turn because of the presence of slow streets signage on Lake Street. So the Waymo driver was obeying the same road rules any car is required to follow. What? Go down a dead end, turn around, and come back out? That's what slow streets means? I do not think that means what you think it means. Slow streets. Another story in tech gone wrong. Canon, they make a multifunction printer that really isn't multifunction because the scanner gets disabled when the printer runs out of ink. Does the scanner need ink? No, but Canon needs you to buy the ink. So David Leecraft is filing a class action lawsuit alleging deceptive marketing and, this is my favorite, unjust enrichment by Canon. He's got a Pixma, actually I think it's more than one Canon printer that does this, a Pixma MG6320. And he was surprised to discover, he says, that the all-in-one machine would refuse to scan or fax documents if the printer ran out of ink. This has been going on for 5 years. When you contact Canon about this, the support agent says, the Pixma must have all ink tanks installed in the printer, and they must all contain ink in order to use the functions of the printer. But, good news, replacing the empty ink tank with a new ink tank will resolve this issue. There is no workaround for this. So here's really what's going on, and I think everybody now knows this, that these printers, they're cheap, right? They're practically, I think they're sold at or below cost. Well, if you see an inkjet printer for $50, you know that that's not the normal price. The way they make money, it's the old we give away the razors and sell them, make money on the blades thing. The way they make money is they sell the printers cheap, and then they make money on the ink, which is very expensive in inkjets, right? There is no technical basis for saying, this printer, in order to scan, needs ink. It's not printing anything. There is absolutely zero technical reason. But they build in this ink level detection stuff. You've seen it when you print, it puts up on the screen little pictures of the ink cartridges and stuff. And it'll just stop working if the ink is low. The lawsuit seeks $5 million in awards. I don't know how you lose this one, to be honest. But, you know how these things are. Anything can happen in a court of law. I know, because I watch TV. This is also another, I guess this is sort of a tech goes wrong. This actually came out of the UK, so I don't know if it has much to do with law in the US. But a fella in the UK, he was an audio-visual expert, installed Ring doorbell cameras all around his house and all around the outside. His neighbor, a physician, sued, saying they're breaching my privacy because he can see into my yard, he can see my house, he can see who's coming and going, and the microphones on these cameras, and these doorbell cameras all have microphones, right? So you can hear somebody saying, hey, I got a package for you, lady. The microphones can hear her. A judge in the UK found that the use of these cameras broke data laws, and that the plaintiff's behavior, who's the plaintiff? The defendant's behavior during his dispute amounted harassment. She says she had to move out of her house in Thames, Oxfordshire. Audio-visual technician Mr. Woodward insisted that he fitted 4 devices, including 2 dummies, around his property because masked men tried to steal my car 2 years ago. But the doctor, his neighbor, complained that the devices placed her under continuous visual surveillance. So this is an interesting privacy case, isn't it? I mean, I have a video doorbell. I love it. I had a Ring for a long time. I just to test it out, I tried the Hello doorbell from Google, and I love it. I know when there's if you have porch pirates stealing your packages, you can keep an eye on them. When somebody's ringing the doorbell, it says, "Someone's at the front door," really loud. Like an idiot son who's just, doesn't, I'm not going to answer. I just want to tell you, there's someone at the front door. Thank you. I appreciate that. The judge said, in particular, the audio range is not reasonable for crime prevention. So, again, this is the UK. I don't know if it affects us in the US. It's interesting. I've always wondered about this, because you have every right to have a camera surveilling your own premises, but when it reaches out into the street or your neighbors across the street, kind of is like spying on them, isn't it? Kind of, sort of. So this is the first time that I know of that a judge has said, yes, in fact it is, and knock it off. And I think there's probably something technological that Ring can do. Ring's owned by Amazon. And I think it's a good product. They've gotten in trouble before because apparently the police were asking for Ring videos if there was a robbery. Again, I'm not sure I think that's such a bad thing. You got a record of the event. But, well, there you have it.
We couldn't play her new song?
Yeah, I think Laura is advertising Adele's new album.
Pretty much everybody is. Gosh, you can't watch Jimmy Fallon anymore without him plugging Adele's new album.
I think Adele was in my dreams. I think something was on TV with Adele this morning. So
the hype machine is ramping up, isn't it?
Over.
Doesn't come out to November, although is there a song out now that a first release? Yeah.
Something came out.
Yeah, but it doesn't have anything to do with telephones, so we can't play it. Because this is your moment. This is your time to shine. Kim Schaffer, phone angel, she answers your calls. She's the one who prepares you for your appearance on big time national radio.
Hey, it's big time.
Big time. Well, I like to pretend it is when I go home.
Well, just look at that list of stations.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good. I'm happy. I love all you guys, everybody who carries a Tech Guy show, even though it's foreign language programming. I appreciate it. I appreciate
foreign language programming because
I speak geek.
Geeky.
I speak geek.
Yeah.
Who should I speak geek with?
Let's see. Rob in Tarzana's got a built-in Roku making weird sounds, and he recorded it for you so he could play it.
Oh, I love that.
I love the interaction.
It's our audio daily double. Yes. Thank you very much, Kim Schaffer, phone angel. And a hello to Rob and Tarzana. Hello, Rob.
Hey, Leo. I'm glad you got a little intro to my issue. I have a home theater audio problem, and that is all my source devices, like my Blu-ray DVD player and my Spectrum cable box, are hooked into my Denon receiver with HDMI cables.
Yes.
And then, of course, there's an HDMI cable connected to the ARC input jack of my TCL 6 Series TV.
Wait a minute. Let me interpret the geek speak for you, just
okay,
so.
Gotcha.
HDMI is that cable, the funny cable that you get when they plug into your TV. These days, all TVs use HDMI for their input. The receiver. The nice thing about having what they call an audio-visual or AV receiver is it can take like 7 or 8, or depends on how many you buy, but you can get a bunch of inputs into it, and then the one output goes into the TV. But you've done something very clever, because many TVs now have an ARC or audio return channel on one of the HDMI ports. And that's because the TVs are smart TVs. They might have Netflix built in or something. So the audio is coming not from the receiver or anything going into the receiver. It's coming from the TV. So the ARC channel brings the audio back down to the receiver so it can play it through your speakers.
Yeah.
That was exhausting.
I learned that from you and Scott Wilkinson.
Yes.
Yeah.
I learned it from Scott too, actually. So.
Okay, well, here's the problem. So when we watch TV, like the cable TV content, the sound that I hear through the receiver is great. And when we watch the DVDs that we play on the Blu-ray player, they also sound great. The problem lies in the audio portion of the content played through the apps on the TV's built-in Roku box.
Is it a TCL? What make TV is it?
It's a TCL 6 Series.
Yeah.
TV.
Oh, you got a nice one. Those are the nice TCLs.
Yeah, very nice. We're happy with it.
You know, my stock answer always is I hate the apps that come on smart TVs. It's really an excuse to put surveillance software into your television. and they don't usually. So there's a couple problems with the apps on your smart TV. The smart TV, to save money, doesn't have a super fast processor. It's just not nowhere near the processor in a Roku, standalone Roku or Apple TV. But also, they make other sacrifices. And the TV manufacturer is responsible for the software, which often means the software is subpar. But I don't know if that's what's going on. Tell me what the audio sounds like. What's going? Why is it?
I'm going to let you hear it.
Oh,
by the way, I'll let you know first. I tried plugging in. I pulled from another TV in our house. I took a Roku stick and plugged it into one of the.
It's going to be the same because it's going through the TV, right?
Oh, same. All right. Well, that answers that. Okay, here's the sound that I hear when I try to play HBO Max or Netflix through my box, through the on my TV. Here it is. Well, I thought I hit it. Hold on.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you have. This is a common problem. You have raccoons in your TV. It happens a lot these days. You know, we've moved into their habitats, so they're moving into ours. No, that is a mismatch in the decoding. So that's interesting. Your TV's doing that. I would go into the audio settings in your TV and look to see if it has Dolby audio on it. What that sounds like to me is the TV. So audio is not simple anymore, where, the audio be playing a sound and then the speaker would say, oh, we're going to play that sound, the same sound out the speaker. No, there's decoding involved. The purest kind of connection would be PCM audio, pulse code modulated audio, and that's basically unencoded. But if you're using Dolby, surround, any of the fancy things, these are actually encoded. They're bit streams, not audio streams, of the kind that a computer would expect. So the computer in the TV needs to send that out, and it needs to be decoded by your receiver. How recent is that done on receiver?
It's actually about 5 years old, maybe.
I wonder if it's. I think the simplest thing is to go in the settings in your smart TV, look at sound, and see what kind of sound it's outputting. And try if it's set. I bet it sounds to me like it's set to Dolby, and set it to PCM instead, which is the pulse code is simpler. You won't get surround, but you'll be able to hear the sound. The other thing you could do is maybe use the optical cable instead of the audio return channel. Although I think you're going to have the same problem because I don't think.
I tried it with that.
Yeah, I don't think it's the connection. I think it's decoding. Yeah. And so what I'm hearing. Coming out of your recording, very nicely done, by the way, is an encoded signal. So either turn the encoding off or turn it on in your receiver, but I suspect it's going to be the former. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. But as soon as Scott gets here, I can ask him. But that's my take on that. Did sound like raccoons, though, didn't it?
It did. Or Mars trying to contact.
Mars is attacking.
It was very interesting.
Hello. Hey, Scott.
Hey, Leo. How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Say
hey,
hello.
Micah.
Say hello to Micah.
Hi.
Do you know Micah?
We got to.
Well, we've never met, actually. I don't think.
No. But we got to chat last time, and I'm still eagerly awaiting your review when it comes for the virtual reality sort of television screen that you were talking about last time.
Oh yeah, you're going to go see that, aren't you, Scott? The light.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the light field. When I come up to the Bay Area, I absolutely will.
Nice.
I don't have a plan for that yet.
I tried to talk Alex Lindsay into going to see it.
Oh yeah, what did he say?
I don't know. He didn't seem that interested.
Didn't seem that interested? Oh, man. I think it's going to be awesome.
I don't really know what was going on there.
Well, he might be jaded. He's
jaded. He's like me. He's skeptical, probably, right?
He's skeptical. I've heard this before.
Yeah.
It's never panned out.
Whoa, that is like an exact impression of Leo. How odd.
I don't want to hear this anymore. I'm done.
No. I have faith. I believe this is going to be the turnaround thing. It's not, it's not cheap. It's still a prototype. It's, it's not something you can go buy, but I think it's pointing the way to something really cool.
Yeah. Well, as soon as you see it, you let us know.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, I think maybe. I mean, yeah, I don't know why Alex was not more fascinated by it, but
he lives up there, right? I mean,
it'd be easy. Well, he lives here, so he lives. Yeah,
yeah.
He could just go down to San Jose.
It's a schlep for sure.
Well, it's not as schleppy as it is from L.A.
No, true.
Yeah, we're not that far. But you're right. I don't think he goes out of the house much anymore. Honestly, I think that might be part of the problem. All right, we will talk to you in a few.
You bet.
Like 30 seconds.
I've got a listener question about streaming, actually. So,
Burke,
it's in with what you were talking about before.
Burke, yes, he has to send audio back to not to the TV. He's sending audio from the audio return channel to the receiver. What's the
remote receiver? You interrupted him right when I was going to ask him, did he plug in the Roku stick into the receiver?
Well, the problem is not the Roku stick. He has a TCL with Roku built in. He tried a stick.
But I think he tried a stick.
But the same thing happened with the stick as happened. I think it's the audio return channel sending Dolby back.
Well, but did he plug the stick into the receiver, into one of the HDMI ports of the receiver?
Did you plug?
That would give you some good
phone. Did you plug it in the receiver or the TV? Are you there? Are you there, Rob?
Yeah, I'm here. I didn't know you guys were still there. Okay,
we never go away. I'm here all week long.
I plugged it into the receiver.
Oh, and it was doing that.
You still got the same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
I don't know what the hell to do about this, Leo. This is crazy.
Well,
I mean, do I need a newer receiver?
I think your receiver doesn't handle whatever that Roku's sending, right, Scott? That's what that chattering sound. Did you hear the chattering he played?
Yeah, I did.
That sounded like encoded audio to me.
Yeah.
Either that or the bit rate's off or some weird thing like that. But I think, try to go in the settings of even the Roku stick, which should be the same thing, and say, I just want to send PCM. And then that, to me, that should. But what do I know?
I agree. No, I agree.
Could it be a difference in the settings for the audio return channel? Because sometimes that TCL TV has its own ARC settings, and then the receiver does as well.
So if he's using the stick, he would go in the Roku stick. But if he's in the TV, he'd go in the TV settings.
So you might need to make sure those are all matched.
Turn off. Yeah, you can't. And you'd know because the TV would say what it's getting. I mean, the receiver would say what it's getting. So if it thinks it's getting stereo PCM and you're sending it Dolby Audio, that's exactly what you're going to hear. Our show today brought to you by audiobooks. Oh, man, I love Audible. Not just audiobooks. I mean, audio programs of all kinds. Have you ever wanted to read a memoir but just didn't have the time? There's some great I love memoirs on Audible. Maybe you found a title you couldn't put down, but you got to fold the laundry or, drive the car. You need audiobooks, Audible audio books. They're the greatest. Driving, cooking, cleaning your house. You can listen to amazing content. I guess really better to say than audiobooks is spoken word entertainment. Audiobooks, of course, bestsellers, new releases. When somebody tells me, here's a title you need to read, first thing I do, go to Audible. First thing I do, because I like to listen. Great celebrity memoirs, often read by the celebrities, which really gives it some juice. You can learn languages. They've got the great courses. There's business content, motivational content, podcasts, original entertainment from top celebrity creators, and thousands of popular and binge-worthy podcasts. And all of that through their new plan, Audible Plus. Full access to their popular Plus catalog. This way, you subscribe, and now you've got your, like, the world's your oyster. You've got your choices. They've got the exclusive Words Plus Music series, which I love. Take an album, explain how it got made, what each song means, a podcast maybe you've never heard, even theatrical performances, which I love. All you can listen to, thousands and thousands of popular audiobooks, original entertainment, podcasts, ad-free versions of your favorite shows, exclusive series. And when you're an Audible Plus subscriber, binge. It's like a buffet of spoken word entertainment, and you can eat all you can listen to. Start by downloading the Audible app on your mobile device, iPhone or Android. It's free. You can put it on tablets too. I actually put it on my iPod because it's got the iPad rather, because it's got great speakers, and it's a great way to listen. I just carry it with me everywhere. Listening to Audible will make you feel inspired, connected, and it's available all in one app. Audible is your playlist for life. Audible Plus. What a great subscription. I'm listening right now to Amazon Unbound is so good by Brad Stone. I just love it. And actually, they talk about Audible and other stuff in there. And it's kind of the last 10 years of Amazon. It's the second audio book about Amazon. And it's just fascinating how they created the Amazon Marketplace, how they got into TV with Amazon Prime and all of that. I don't know what it is, but I love listening. I figure if you're listening to the podcast or the radio show, you love listening too. You would love Audible. What are you waiting for? Delve into your next title on Audible with Audible Plus. New members can get Audible Plus for 30 days. Just download the app. Get started with a free trial at audible.com/techguy, or you can text, if you want to stay on your phone, text Tech Guy to 500-500. Audible, AUDIBLE, audible.com/techguy, or text Tech Guy to 500-500. Start your free trial today. I think you're going to love it. That's a really nice way to get introduced to it. You can listen to a huge variety of content to your heart's content. Content to your content. How about that? AUDIBLE, audible.com/techguy. Thank you for your support, Audible. So many years we've been part of the Audible family. I've been listening to The Wheel of Time, which I love.
I've got a lot to listen to.
Oh, I'm up to 6, I think. And that's why I took a break because I wanted to start listening to, I just took a break. So I had to listen to this Brad Stone, so I was listening to that. Oh, so good. So you listen to Audible too?
Oh, I've got so many titles. Most of mine is high fantasy stuff, just because it's something I listen to when I'm falling asleep.
I want to, I should log into my Audible so I can recommend some. Stacy's starting her book club in the Club
right.
TWiT, and it's with the Murderbot Diaries. And so I have on my list of things to listen to, I believe I have some murder bots waiting for me. Sandman Act 2 just came out. Awesome. That's an example of a multi-voice performance with some of the biggest names. It's an Audible original. So, James McAvoy, Emma Corrin, Brian Cox, Kat Dennings, John Lithgow, Bill Nighy. It's just some of the best actors. Michael Sheen, Kristen Schaal. I love Brian Cox. He's the old man in Succession. Do you like Neil Gaiman if you like fantasy?
Yeah, definitely.
Neverwhere. He reads Neverwhere. It's so good. Oh, my God. It's a BBC production. Christopher Lee, James McAvoy, Natalie Dormer, David Harwood, Sophie Okonedo, Benedict Cumberbatch. It's a BBC dramatization of Neverwhere. It is so good. And then when he read The Anansi Boys. It's so good. Good Omens, Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman. That's another really nice full cast production.
Really nice to listen to. Even if you've read Good Omens 100 times, it's still worth listening.
So good. It's BBC 4. I'll tell you what's hip. This cat right here, man. Scott Wilkinson, home theater geek. He joins us every week to talk about big screen, flat panels, and surround sound. Hello, Scotty.
Hey, Leo. That last phone call was very interesting.
What do you think? What's your diagnosis, doctor?
Well, I think you were probably right. It's probably a decoding thing. And we found out off the air that, he actually plugged a Roku stick into the receiver, and it still did the same thing. So that leads me to believe that the receiver is not understanding what the Roku is sending.
Are there encodings that a 5-year-old receiver would not know?
Dolby Atmos, probably.
Okay. But Atmos, is it downward compatible? In other words,
yes, it should be. It should be.
So
but
if the receiver or TV were sending, if the Roku or the TV were sending Dolby Atmos to the receiver should say, well, I don't know what this Atmos thing is, but I hear Dolby and play it back.
Yeah, it should.
5-year-old Denon, I have a 5-year-old Denon. That does Dolby.
I do too, as a matter of fact.
That does Dolby.
I still get Dolby Atmos, so yeah, okay.
Or as the kids say, doubly. I'm not.
Yeah, if you watch.
Now I don't know. You're right. It's not obvious.
No, it's not obvious. I'm going to do a little research on this.
Okay.
And see what I can find. And if I can come up with anything next week, I'll let you know. Meanwhile, I got an email from Tom Parker, who's a devoted listener, who said, I know there are several ways to get over-the-top TV, Chromecast, Roku, Apple TV, so on. Just wondering what you think is the best way overall to do that by picking just one device. Now, this is similar to what your other caller was trying to do. He's using Roku in the TV, but as you said, and I agree with you 100%, it's much better to get an outboard streaming box.
So what are your choices? Your choices are Roku, obviously, Apple TV.
Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV.
Okay. Do you have one that you like more than others?
Well, it depends on several factors. It's not just this one's the best, buy it.
Fire's the cheapest. Roku's very close on. I mean, both are under $100. Apple TV's the most expensive. My
Apple
favorite
is most expensive.
For functionality, but not for apps, is the Nvidia Shield TV, which runs Android TV.
I was going to mention that if you're a gamer, that's the one to get without question. So you see, there are several factors. If you're a gamer, you want the Nvidia Shield because it's got Apple TV has something called Apple Arcade, I believe. I'm not a gamer, so I don't follow this as much. But Apple TV has a little bit, but Nvidia Shield, if you're a gamer, that really is the one you want.
The only disadvantage, and I have an Nvidia Shield, which I love, is it doesn't have as many apps. So
right. And it's $150.
Well, Apple TV's more than that.
$180. Yeah. Right, exactly. Yeah. So if you're an Apple person, if you have all this Apple ecosystem, you're an iPhone and Macs and so on, iPads, then you might want to spend the extra money and get an Apple TV. Although Roku also does AirPlay. So that is no longer,
but that's not as good a solution, if you ask me, as an Apple TV. Plus, you get spatial audio. There's just some advantages to using the Apple TV.
Well, that's true. Although Roku also has Dolby Atmos, DTS:X, and Dolby Vision as well. At least the Ultra, the high end, which is $100.
On movies,
movies, correct.
I don't know about music, so.
That's a good question.
I think the Roku apps, for instance, the Apple TV Plus app on Roku is not so good. So if you're an Apple person, I think get an Apple. But otherwise, Roku is easily the one with the most channels. And then if you care about 4K upscaling or gaming or something, the Nvidia Shield's a good choice. If price is an object, Fire TV is good. But I don't know about you, but what I don't like about the Fire TV is all the advertising for Amazon products.
Mm-hmm. And that's the point with Fire TV. It's very Amazon centric. With Apple TV, it's going to be Apple-centric. Roku is agnostic.
Right.
And that's an important point.
Apple's not as bad as Amazon, by the way.
No, that's true.
Promoting Apple stuff on the Apple TV. Right. You do see some stuff.
If you want a 4K Roku that's less than $100, CNET is really recommending the Roku Express 4K Plus.
I'm not going to agree with them.
$30.
That's a stick, right?
No.
It's not a stick.
It's a little tiny box.
Yeah, see, so my issue with those is heat. And both the stick and the little boxes, I think, are more heat prone, which means
that's
they
an interesting
fail.
Point.
Yeah, I like a bigger box myself.
I have an Express on my 1080p bedroom TV. And I haven't noticed that problem at all, but that's an interesting point.
Oh, man, I had a Roku stick that would just reboot pretty regularly.
Really?
Yeah, maybe I'm
Does it
prejudiced
overheat?
from those days because maybe they've gotten better. None of these things have fans in them because they don't want to make noise in your nice TV room.
Well, correct. Plus, there's no room in a stick for a fan.
I think the one argument for spending a little more is you're going to get a faster processor.
Yes.
More capability. That's why the
Yep.
Nvidia Shield is better for gaming because
Yep. Yep.
and I think the same goes for Apple TV. They spend a little more money on the internals. Apple, you never know. They may just be you may be buying a brand.
Well, the Roku Ultra, which is their top line, 4K, it's $100.
It's cheap.
And
That's what I use. I love it.
Yeah, me too.
Love
me too.
it.
That's exactly what I use.
Yeah.
And the widest range of apps available. It does Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos. I'm watching Foundation now on from the Roku, and it's working great.
How's the audio on that? Can you hear it now? Because you were complaining.
No, it's bad. It's bad.
I'm listening. So maybe I don't know because I'm listening. When I watch it in 4K, it's a stereo. It's left and right. That's all.
Really?
And I don't have any trouble with the dialogue. When I listen in the living room on the Dolby Surround, I also don't have any trouble with the dialogue. But I did turn up that center channel quite a bit, like 4 or 5 dB. So
I've got mine turned up 5 dB at least.
And you still can't
for that.
understand what they're saying, huh?
Yeah. I tell you the truth, I'm reviewing a product that I don't have posted yet. It's almost ready to go, and I'll tell you about it when I do. But it's from JVC. It's called Exo Field Theater. It's basically a pair of headphones, wireless headphones, and a processor box that you put your Roku into, and it simulates or recreates a surround field outside your head in headphones. And with a good quality source like Roku from what's Foundation on Apple TV? No,
Apple TV Plus.
Apple TV Plus. It is, yeah. I thought it actually improved the dialogue a little bit. Listening to it on headphones on this thing. I'm going to give you a more full review when I get it posted. But
It reminds me when I was a youngin'.
Yeah.
My dad would always say, "Stop mumbling." And I said, "Dad,
Yeah,
I
they're
am not
mumbling.
mumbling. You're deaf."
Yeah, they're mumbling.
Micah, are we just two old guys complaining about yelling at clouds?
No, I'm a young man who always has captions on my television.
Oh, you're kidding.
No
Always,
kidding, really?
Always. I can't watch television without it. And the thing is, I infect people with that. Now, like so many people in my life, why aren't the captions on? We need to turn the captions on. Why am I watching this
my
television without
God,
captions?
Wow.
Yeah, I don't watch television without captions because that way I do get to hear everything that's happening. I know
exactly
for
what's
sure
happening.
what's
But
taking
don't you
place.
get distracted? I find I get distracted.
Yeah, it's one of those learned skills. You
because
got
you have to look down, look
read
up, look
the
down,
captions,
look
and
up.
then you
At
miss
first-
some of the beautiful imagery.
you start to get this ability to sort of read the captions while you're watching.
I was watching Squid Games, which is in Korean with you can have English overdubbing.
subtitles.
And usually,
Yeah.
with subtitles. And usually I hate overdubbing, but Squid Game was such a stupid show. I didn't mind the overdubbing.
The dubbing made it
made
worse.
it better. It
I
was
think
just
made it
as
worse.
bad, in fact, worse. Leo Laporte. Thank you, Scott. Leo Laporte,
You bet.
tech guy. It actually added to the campiness.
That made it so campy. We ended up
you
turning
do
off. We turned off the dubbing because the voice actors were.
They're terrible.
It's as if it was an anime.
Yeah, they're terrible.
Right,
And
right.
I don't know if you noticed, but I left the captions on, and the captions don't match the dubbing at all.
It's terrible.
Really?
It's
Yeah.
like they're two different scripts, and I'm wondering
I think
which
they
one
are.
reflects the Korean accurately.
Exactly. There was actually this whole set of stories about how, depending on how you watch it, it changes the story. Depending on if you watch it with the
So if you watch it
overdubbing.
with, and what was did they say
Dubbing
watch it
versus captions?
I
Watch
think
it
they
with
said
captions,
that
probably, right?
it
That's
was the subtitles, which is where you translate on screen. That's what a subtitle is, versus a caption, which is where you transcribe what's
There's
on screen.
different things.
Yeah, subtitle is translation.
So there's three different kinds.
Caption is
You could have the Korean transcription, the captioning, or the dubbing.
Dubbing, yes.
But none of them match.
None of them match. And I was told that the best thing was subtitles, but some people even argue with that.
None of them match. It's not a good show anyway. Have you seen the whole thing?
Yeah. It happens with a lot of shows on Netflix where if you
They don't
watch it with
match?
dubbing, the captions the captions don't match. And so it ends up being better to watch it with the subtitles. But for me, as someone who gets up and walks around a lot while I'm watching a show.
That's the problem. I can't play video games while I'm watching.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep.
There were a couple of German shows that we started watching, and Netflix for some reason defaulted to dubbing. And I thought, these are terrible. And then I turned on the captioning instead, or the subtitling instead, and it was so much better. Because the actors are better actors.
Exactly.
The people they
if you
hire
commit
to do
to
dubbing
it, to sitting down and watching a foreign show,
Yeah.
it does help.
You know what's great? Have you watched Lupin yet?
No, I haven't, but I keep seeing it.
Oh, it's so good. It's French.
Lupin?
Lupin.
Lupin?
Lupin.
Lupin.
Fantastic. Oh, neither of you seen it.
I haven't seen it, no.
Fantastic
I
show.
will
it
add
on?
that to.
That's a good question. This is always the eternal question, isn't it?
I know.
Watch it
I know.
on.
By the way, that's another reason I recommend Apple TV, because you can
I love that.
press the Siri button and say Lupin, and it will say where it
all
is.
the
It's on
different places
Netflix.
you can watch it.
It's on Netflix.
Okay, well, by the way, that's one thing I didn't mention.
Roku does
also
that.
has an excellent across-platform. Any source you say I want Lupin, either it does have voice control now too, which I don't use, but it'll tell you where it is on any platform, and if it costs anything, or if it requires a subscription.
The other brilliant thing is the headphones on the remote, which Roku does.
Yes.
We didn't get into that either.
Yes, we didn't say
There's
that either.
There's a lot of things we missed.
Although you can easily switch now with an Apple TV. If it detects your AirPods nearby and they're in, you can easily switch to them.
And there's no lag. There's no
No, because they
lip
slow
sync
down.
issues. Oh, they do it. They know
make
what they're
sure
doing.
That it's both
that's
matched.
very Apple. Yeah. Lupin.
Bang.
Watch a Lupin.
And I don't know
Omelette
the
du
show. I've been
fromage.
wondering about whether or not to get into Squid Game. It's pretty.
You will not like. You don't like violence, so you're going to hate
I
it.
don't like violence. Okay,
I
so it's
wouldn't
all
recommend
violent.
it. Yeah.
Did you like it? We never got your review.
I liked the ending. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. So this is funny because I'm watching. I'm thinking the only thing that's interesting about this is why they're doing it.
Yes.
And who is,
I wanted to
and
know
why they're
why
doing
and
it.
who and what was the reason.
So actually, it's good to know that I will find that out after 9 episodes of stupid violence.
Okay, so you haven't finished it yet.
Oh, I only watched the first episode.
Oh, see, it's
I
a
thought it
hard
was
one to
clear
get
why
through.
they're doing it.
Just
I mean,
if you
they-
don't,
No, it's
all
not
over
clear.
the news.
Who's doing it or why is not clear.
Oh, okay.
they make it seem like
Well,
it's
somebody
clear.
very wealthy is doing it because
Exactly.
they're on an
Well,
island.
I thought the contestants are.
The contestants.
Oh, we know why the contestants are
yeah,
doing
we know
it.
why they're
down
playing.
and out.
Right.
But who's at the
They're
top?
down and out. They're deeply
Do you want
in
to?
debt.
Do you want to stick around?
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay, we
Oh,
just
what's
used up
that?
your whole segment.
What is that?
Okay, this is something you're going to have to learn if you're going to do this show, Micah. Is you've got to be able to immediately identify the songs with 3 notes. Just saying.
No.
I can't do it either. I don't know. Oh, wait a minute. I recognize his voice. I know this song. Professor Laura is not playing an obscure tune.
Electric Avenue. Okay.
Yeah. All right, Leo Laporte. That is fairly obscure, actually. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. My apprentice, Micah Sargent, joining us again today. He's going to, I think, come in every Saturday for a while and just get the lay of the land and help answer questions because he is definitely a tech guy. Doug in Asheville, North Carolina is next. Whoa, hello, Doug.
Hello.
Are you in the machine shop? Are you getting your wheels aligned?
I'm out in my barn making a cabinet for record albums.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry to interrupt. What can I do for you?
No, I'm glad you answered my call. I'm glad I got on.
Yeah.
So anyways, I've listened to you for a long time and your advice about buying a Chromebook.
Yes.
So we went and we bought a Acer Spin. I think it's like a 514 or something
That's
like
the
that.
best one. Good choice.
But then we saw, when you're searching stuff, then you'll get ads and
I know.
stuff.
I know.
So we get tons of stuff in Chromebook.
Yeah.
And this one ad or article I saw said, and you should never, ever use your Chromebook for any of the following purposes. surfing the web, online shopping,
Okay.
email access.
Was that article written by Microsoft by any chance? That's exactly what you should do with your Chromebook. What are they talking about?
No, well, that's what I thought because that's the reason I bought it.
Yeah, what would be the point of a computer that you can't surf the web, do online shop? I mean, that's what most people are doing with the Chromebook. That's crazy that they said that. Where was that article published?
It's from Clark Howard. I don't.
Oh, don't listen to Clark. I mean, Clark's a nice guy,
I don't listen to him.
but he's not a tech
I
guy.
saw an article and I thought, well, this is odd because from what I understood from what you said, they're very safe and secure.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure what Clark does. Clark is, of course, a great consumer advocate, and certainly I trust him. But I don't know what he's talking about. I'll have to see if I can find that article. There, of course, you can. In fact, the whole point of a Chromebook is that it's a safe way to do online banking, to surf the net, to do e-commerce. It's safer than any other kind of platform. It's designed from the ground up to be secure. So now, here's what you could say. The Chromebook is not ideal if you don't have internet access, because it really relies on internet access. Yeah. If you want to run standalone applications like Microsoft Office, you can't. You can use the web-based version of Office, though, which is quite good. So it's basically just for using the web. He's got it exactly upside down.
One of the things we wanted to do, my wife, we've got grandkids in Phoenix and Chicago, and so what she did was she sent craft kits to the kids, and then she would be on her Chromebook, and then they do stuff together.
How adorable is that?
Yeah, and it worked well, and then we saw the article, and it's like...
No. I don't know what Clark's... Clark actually recommends using Chromebooks in some of his other articles, so I'm not sure. I think he actually likes Chromebooks.
I got a screenshot of the thing, and, anyways, I'm just glad to hear that we did the right thing.
You did not only did the right thing, you've got... Those grandkids are probably thinking, Grandma's hip. Grandma's with it, man. She's...
Oh, yeah. They do love it, They love sitting there and they paint or make a craft, because she'll send one to the kids and then she'll have the same thing and they'll do it together.
This is one thing. I mean, pandemic has been tough, but one benefit of it is we've developed these technologies now, like Zoom and Google Meeting and Skype and Teams. Duo is great. And we can now, I visit with my mom. She's all the way on the East Coast, but I talk to her every week on FaceTime, and she says, "Thank goodness for FaceTime. This is almost as good as getting together in person." And I agree. I think it's been a transformation. How cute is that? That's adorable.
Yeah, I mean, actually, the day and age we live in is really good for a couple like us because our grandkids are scattered.
Exactly.
We're able to, have a video call with them whenever we want.
Exactly. I think once the pandemic's over in the year 2025, we will be able to we'll still use these things.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's
a great solution.
We're pleased that we have access to good internet and
Yeah. So no, don't. I'm glad you called to clear that up, Doug. And I guess what the chat room is saying is that the one thing Clark sometimes says, and maybe this is what he was meaning, is if you use it for financial, don't use it for anything else. But I don't even agree with that. In fact, I think for a lot of people, even if you have a Windows or Mac machine, having a Chromebook specifically for things that you want to be extra secure, like banking, is a great idea. They're inexpensive. You got the best those Acer Spins are really nice. And she can put it in a tent mode so the keyboard's out of the way while she's doing her crafts and stuff. I think that's great.
So one thing she wanted to do was she's got 2 monitors downstairs for work.
Oh, jeez.
Was taking it down there and using the 2 monitors.
Yeah, why not? Someday we'll be able to build a room with screens all the way around us, and we'll be any day now. Hey, it's a pleasure talking to you, Doug. Fear not, that Chromebook. That's exactly what it's for. Yeah, and I honestly think Clark's a great guy. I think there might be something he said, but the implication is not don't use the Chromebook for e-commerce, banking, or online. It's exactly what you should use it for. And I know he feels that way because he's always talking about Chromebooks. So I know he's aware of them and likes them. Frank is on the line from Carlsbad, California. Hello, Frank.
Hi, good afternoon, Leo. How are you today?
I am very well. How are you?
I'm perfect. I've got
Yes, you are.
2 questions, but I'm going to fire them away real quick.
Okay.
The first one is kind of crazy about Google. Is there a way to recover those beautiful slideshows that Google produces? I got one that they posted last week, and I didn't save it.
Oh. Yeah, that's a great question.
Cirrhosis.
I love what they do. Apple does it too now, where they take you've got all your pictures in there, and they take them and they make cool things with them, and then you have to heart them if you want to save them. That's a great question. I see them, and they say do something. Do you want to save this? And I don't know what happens to them after a while if you don't.
Well, this was the first time I ever really paid any attention to it. And
here's what I would do. Here's what I would do. If you go to Google Photos on the web, the interface is a little easier to use than on mobile. And there's an Explore menu item on the left. And if you scroll down, you'll see a section called Creations. Now, there's saved creations, which are the ones you heart. But no, I noticed that there's other ones, animations, collages, and movies. And I bet you the older stuff is saved there. Yeah, I'm seeing stuff from 2018, 2016.
Oh, perfect.
So I'm thinking they don't throw anything out. Why should they? They've got...
I would hope not.
Yeah. What was the other question?
The other question is you brought up the PS5, and I'm 67 years old. I've never been a gamer. I mean, I think the last thing I ever gamed on was the old Magnavox.
Did you like? Oh yeah! Holy cow! I remember that.
I mean, I was in 8th grade, and like 1968.
You're not. No, I'm the. We're close in age. I love gaming. I do it on my PC and on my iPhone and on my iPad more than I do on Xbox or PlayStation. You're wondering, should you get one?
Well, I'm interested in Flight Simulator.
Oh, hang on, and I'll talk about that in a second. We got to take a break. News is next.
Perfect.
Leo Laporte, the tech guy. The Magnavox Odyssey. Wow. That is a classic.
Yeah.
So you want to do Flight Sim for that? Yeah, I think does a PS5 do Microsoft Flight Sim? That's the best one.
From what I've been reading, I think it is. I mean, I just got a new M1 Mac, and I know it's not going to work on that.
No. They said they're putting it out for the PS5. I don't know if it's out yet.
I just can't.
Yeah.
Didn't you get a PS5 on your doorstep?
I did. It's sitting right there, but I haven't opened the box. That would be, if you have a 4K 120 hertz TV, like a very nice modern TV, absolutely the best way to play Flight Simulator. It'd be immersive with a big 4K TV. Did it come out? Because I know they were promising it. I haven't noticed if it came out. I have it on the PC. And, people who play these games, it depends how immersed you want to get. If you just want, I've had cataract surgery, and I'm lucky I don't need a white cane. But I just I don't want to end up going up in a 172 and killing myself. No, this is great, and Flight Sim is a fabulous program you will love, even for the casual guy. Do you fly in real life?
I actually soloed out over the Everglades 40 years ago.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
So this is.
So if
you should do it.
I was alligator food.
So my only suggestion, first of all, it's hard to get these. The reason there's one on my doorstep is one of our staff members, stumbled on 2, and so he said, "I know somebody will want this," and he bought both of them, and then he asked everybody if they wanted one.
Sure.
Everything I'm reading suggests that the PS5 is not the right choice if you want to do Microsoft's Flight Simulator.
Xbox would be better, but that's even harder to get.
Exactly, or a Windows PC itself. Apparently, they've talked about releasing previous versions of Flight Simulator for the for the PlayStations of years past, and then it never happened. So you go in with the PS5, you make that investment,
you may never get it.
You may never get it.
So maybe if you can, it's hard to get either one. Yeah, see, they still haven't released it. I see that now. It's hard to get either one. PS5 marginally easier. Microsoft says there'll be shortages of the Xbox Series X, which is the one you want, the Series X. There'll be shortages of that until next year. But, if you ever see it available, get it.
I've waited this long. I can wait.
I think if you've ever flown, that would be a great choice. And pilots love it. Pilots say this is the greatest thing ever. I have to let you go. It's a pleasure to talk to you, Frank. Come back.
Leo, I appreciate everything you've done.
We'll talk again. Thank you, sir.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Isn't he great?
Thank
Don't
you.
we love Micah? But right now, I've been using up precious moments for Mr. Scott Wilkinson.
It's totally fine, man. It's your show.
I'm explaining. No. It's your show. I'm explaining to Micah, this is coffee break time. This is when Scott takes over, and you and I get to get a cup of Joe.
I'm happy to do that.
Stretch.
Absolutely. It's funny. You were mentioning the Magnavox Odyssey. I was watching Pawn Stars, and somebody brought in a Magnavox Odyssey.
Oh my God! Worth how much?
1980 something.
Nothing.
I don't remember how much they. I don't remember.
Here, I'll give you $150.
I think it was a couple $100.
Yeah, maybe because of the nostalgia factor. There's going to be people like Frank who would say, just for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. Hey, everybody. Nice to see you all. I remember there was, CJ here said that Google TV also has great cross-platform features. Okay, well, that's good. And Mike B also says the same thing. You can search on Chromecast, I guess, and get recommendations from a bunch of different platforms, which is great on the streamers we were talking about earlier. Hawaii Cop says Tableau TV. I haven't heard of Tableau in a long time. I have to go look that up. Scooter X says the audio on Foundation on my Apple TV 4K with Dolby Vision and Atmos, and the dialogue is great on my 5.2 setup with a Sony AVR. Great. Glad to hear it. I wish it sounded better on my system, but it just doesn't. And I'm apparently not the only one, so I'm glad about that. Well, I'm not glad about it, but I'm glad it's not me. Let's see. Keith512 sent me a link for, I thought you might like this, convert a broken backlit LCD TV to a TV for outside. I'll have to look at that link. Thanks. So I was looking for it might have scrolled past my buffer here. Somebody asked me, what's the next best thing to OLED, and when's it going to be here? Well, the next best thing to OLED is already here. It's a FALD, full array local dimming, LCD, LED backlit TV. And that's by far the most common type of TV today. I call it second best to OLED because it doesn't have as good blacks, doesn't have as good viewing angle. It is brighter, so if you need a really bright TV, then you got that. But that's the next best thing. Now, if you're talking about what's the next thing coming down the pike that's going to, I think, even be better than OLED, is micro LED. And we're seeing a number of companies bring them to consumer market. LG, Samsung. I don't know if the Sony one is available to consumers yet, but I know LG is, and I know Samsung is. But they're hella expensive. They're tremendously expensive. And the LG, the biggest size you can get is like over $1 million. And these, we've talked about this on the show before. Micro LED consists of a number of tiles that are roughly a foot square, and you just put them together like a jigsaw puzzle into whatever size TV you want. And but it's so expensive right now, but it's going to come down. It has to. All things digital do. When they figure out, particularly when they figure out manufacturing and get good at that, because the problem is, for now, manufacturing is still very expensive because it has to be perfect. You have to place these tiny little micro LEDs perfectly every time. or the whole thing is useless. So that's the next big thing. I think that comment in the chat room said next best thing, but I think it's next big thing beyond OLED. That's going to be micro LED. And it's very exciting. I'm looking forward to it very much. I probably won't have one in my house for a while because they're just so darn expensive. But for now, I'm very happy with OLED. I have a dark room. I can make it very dark, so I don't need bright. Even high dynamic range now, like Foundation, is almost too bright. I have a bias light behind my TV, which is important, especially for bright things like that, so you don't get eye strain. But it's perfectly bright enough for me in a dark room. The only thing I would say, you would need more brightness if you were watching TV in a well-lit room or a light-colored walls and so on, a family room, something like that. You need more brightness, in which case an LCD is probably the way to go. And I think I hear the music. Here it comes.
Thank you, Scotty.
My pleasure. See you next week, where I will talk about Doom.
Why, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy with my, I don't know, Tech Guy Jr. sounds kind of a little...
Tech lad?
Tech lad. With a tech lad. The wonderful Micah Sargent is going to be helping me out on Saturdays. 8888 Ask Leo is the phone number. 888-827-5536. Now you have double the brain power. Really, it's more like triple the brain power. 8888 Ask Leo. Website, good to know. It's free. There's no sign up. TechGuyLabs.com. And I mentioned that because if you hear something on the show and you say, well, what was that? Or I don't remember. Or you don't have to write it down. It's all going to be there. TechGuyLabs.com. And there's no sign up. It's free of charge. There's a pretty good search there. There's even a place you can leave comments or suggestions or additions or just yell at me. Leo, you're wrong. TechGuyLabs.com. We were talking to Frank about Flight Sim. Because he was a pilot in his youth. He wants to play it. He was saying maybe on a PS5. I think PS5 is not ideal. They have still not released it on the PS5. I hear it's pretty good on the Xbox Series X. But you heard, Micah, that the PC is the best. The problem with Serious Flight Simulator people, they spend $8,000 on a PC, and they're not done because then they got to get a flight yoke. They got to get pedals. Oh, and you need 3 monitors because what are you going to do when you look out the left window? There's got to be something there in the right window. There's got to have something there. So by the time you're done,
you've made a huge investment.
You could have bought a Cessna. But you can't fly under the Eiffel Tower, which is something our friend Paul Thurrott, who does the Windows show.
What does Paul use?
I'm sure he uses a PC. Actually,
3 monitors, 9.
He's a Windows guy, a Windows columnist and journalist, so he has all sorts of... But that's a good question. I'll have to ask him. But he says he has yet been able to fly under the Eiffel Tower.
Oddly enough.
He keeps crashing. It's just wide enough. But see, that's the cool thing about a flight simulator. You could do silly stuff like that. Anyway, I think our advice, Frank, is get a PC if you can. Mm-hmm. That'd probably be the way to do it. Otherwise, Xbox. I think Xbox
definitely
is easy,
not a PlayStation,
but not the PlayStation.
For flight sim.
Greg, New Brunswick, Canada. Hello, Greg.
Hey, good afternoon, Leo. Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for calling. What's up?
Well, my parents are running into an issue with the desktop computer. It's an Acer desktop, and they are running version 21H1 for Windows 10.
Okay.
And after when it logs in without a password, all of a sudden, when I try to click on something, whether if it's an application or like the start button or like anything else, it won't open. It won't work. Now, I tried the memory diagnostic tool, and there were no errors, so I think it's something else going on.
It will open, but it won't work. You mean it just sits there, or what happens? Does it crash?
Basically, it kind of like freezes up.
Well, and it does that for anything you try to do. Once you're already logged in, but nothing else works. Can you open Windows and look at files in the Explorer and things like that, or does that not work either?
Nothing. I tried it on like my parents' desktop computer. Nothing. And sometimes it would blue screen.
Yeah.
After a while too.
So Windows is broke. That's the technical term. It's done broken. Couple of things you might try to restore it. So the question always is when a PC is malfunctioning, is this a hardware issue or a software issue? This sounds to me like software, but it could be hardware. So the first thing to do is just fix the software, see if that's sufficient. Windows has inside it a repair functionality. Easiest way to do it probably would be, and you're going to need this anyway, everybody should have this, is to Google Microsoft Windows 10 Media Creation Tool. And you'll get to the page where Microsoft lets you download what they call an ISO file. It's the Windows 10 installer, but instead of being on a disk, it's just a file that you download, and then it has instructions. You'll put it on a little USB thumb drive. Everybody really who uses computers should have a rescue thumb drive that you can boot up into in case something goes wrong with the internal hard drive or the installation gets messed up. Once you've got the Windows installer, you can run it. You'll have to tell the computer, boot to this USB drive, run it, and then there's a repair function. As you're going along, it'll say, I see Windows 10, and then it's under options, repair. The program it's running is called the SFC, the system. I think it's a system file checker, and the system file checker can be run from the command prompt without this disk. Maybe that's the first thing to do, is just try it and see what's going on. SFC, system file checker, SFC space, and then a /scan now, and you could do that from just hit the Windows key and run that. As long as you're an administrator, you can run that. And that'll at least tell you if there's damaged files. I think, honestly, that's all that is. It's just a damaged boot file or damaged window file that it needs to run these programs. Everything starts up fine, but as soon as you launch a program, the program tries to load that. Probably it's what we call a dynamic linked library, or DLL, and it goes and it dies. A damaged DLL. If it's that, it's good news. It's easy. The system file checker will say, "All right, you want me to replace these damaged files?" And it will replace them, and that often fixes it. If it doesn't, then the next step is to do the Windows boot. You should have that anyway. Boot to that, run the repair. If that doesn't work, you can install Windows 10 on top of the existing Windows 10. In other words, you're slowly, bit by bit, working your way back to a clean install of Windows 10. If it is not that, and the next most likely thing, those are easily the most likely things, just a damaged file, is a hard drive that isn't working very well. These moving parts, like hard drives, wear out. They stop working. And so a bad hard drive could also cause this problem, because, in fact, that may be why the file is damaged, right? But you'll know that if you go through it, you fix everything, and it's still doing that, then the next step is to wipe the drive, back up your data first, wipe the drive, reinstall Windows. Then, if it's still not working, you need a new hard drive, probably, in all likelihood. I don't think it's, that's just kind of the steps to go through, bit by bit. Start with scanning it, then boot to the Windows installer and do the repair. You're a good son, Greg. I can tell you're the one. You're the one Mom and Dad say, "Okay, your job to fix it." The chat room saying Chickenhead21, not his real name, by the way, says, well, it could be. Actually, I shouldn't assume, should I? Says, could swapping it with a working Windows hard drive fix it? Yeah, well, that's kind of what you're doing. That's why I think it's good to have a bootable Windows installer. That's kind of what you're doing. When you boot up to that USB key, you're booting up to a version of Windows, it's the installer, that's running without touching whatever's on the hard drive. And if that all works fine, then it's not a hardware, it's not something fundamentally wrong with the computer. It's something that you could fix usually in software. The one exception is you're no longer using the internal hard drive. So it could also be the hard drive, right? You're just eliminating that from the equation. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the that's the phone number. Oh, it is your real name. Okay, well, to each his own, I guess. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. More of your calls coming up. Johnny Jett, too. I got to tell you about a really useful tool that everybody should know about. I am a big fan of making your sites accessible to everybody, right? Why wouldn't you want your site to be accessible to everybody? But it can be, and also as a business owner, I understand it can also be a challenge. You're worried it's going to be expensive, it's going to be complicated to go through your whole site and make it compatible. I got to tell you, though, not only is it the right thing to do, it's also a legal obligation. Our show today brought to you by userway.org, which makes this easy. I'm really strongly in favor of this idea of accessibility. There's 60 million Americans with disabilities, and if they can't use your site, that's 60 million customers, 60 million users you can't get to. And there's no reason not to. It may also be a legal requirement. In fact, it is. The ADA, the American for Disabilities Act, mandates equal access to services for all Americans. And so you could be liable for your website if it doesn't meet the ADA accessibility standards. Userway is a great way to do it. It's an AI-powered solution that tirelessly enforces the hundreds of WCAG guidelines. These are the access guidelines from the World Wide Web. One line of JavaScript, Userway can achieve more than an entire team of developers. It's really amazing. In fact, it's so good, it's used by some of the biggest companies in the world. Over 1 million websites use Userway, including Coca-Cola. Disney uses it, eBay, FedEx, many other leading brands. And now they've made this best-in-class enterprise-level accessibility tools available to small and medium-sized businesses. When I asked the prices, I was stunned. I said, that's really affordable. But as you get bigger, it will scale with you, and that's the beauty of it. If it can handle Disney, it can handle your site. Userway automatically generates image alts. That's partly what the AI does. It writes image descriptions for you, which you can, of course, add to if you want. It remediates complex nav menus, ensures that all pop-ups are accessible. It fixes vague link violations, fixes broken links, ensures your website makes use of accessible colors while remaining true to your brand. And you'll get a detailed report of all the violations that were fixed on your website. Works with WordPress, Shopify, Wix. It's a userway.org. It's a cost-effective, easy way to make your site accessible. Same for AEM and Sitecore, SharePoint. It is easy to do. A simple addition of one line of JavaScript will make your site compliant. In fact, you can go to userway.org and see if you are compliant. Check out their free scanning tool to see if your website's compliant. Just ask the voice of Siri what she thinks of Userway.
Userway is trusted by more than 1 million websites and 60 million users with disabilities. Visit userway.org to learn how one line of code can make your website accessible.
Userway can make any website fully accessible and ADA compliant. Go to userway.org. Please go to userway.org/twit, would you? I know you don't have to, but it'll help us because they'll know you saw it here. And we've got a little something that'll help you. 30% off Userway's AI-powered accessibility solution. Userway, making the internet accessible for everyone. I'm a big believer in that. Userway.org/twit. We thank them so much for supporting the Tech Guy podcast. Something you should do. It's the right thing to do. You might also be the only way to avoid getting sued. Userway.org/twit. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy, 8888 Ask. Leo, Micah Sargent, your tech buddy, is also here. Joe in the chat room reminds me that nowadays with Microsoft's new, they call it Game Pass and Microsoft Cloud Gaming, xCloud, you should be actually able to run it. He said he has a Mac. You could run it on your Mac in the browser. Mm-hmm. In theory,
you could run it on an iPad in that case. Then.
Yeah, anything with a browser. I don't know how good it would be, but I guess it'd be enough. It's certainly a way to try it.
Right. I mean, you'd have to connect an Xbox controller or something similar.
You would want a controller, yeah.
So you wouldn't be able to do the whole setup with the yoke. Is that what it's called? Yoke?
Yeah, the yoke. Yeah. Anyway, good point, Joe. Thank you. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number. We do have a chat room. If you want to join that, it's an IRC chat room, irc.twit.tv. That's our Team Tech guys in there helping me out. Diego is next from Los Angeles. Hi, Diego.
Hi, Leo. Thank you for taking my call. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for calling.
Hey, I have a Windows desktop computer that's running Windows 10 Pro 64-bit, and I have I purchased a 2019 service manual for my vehicle, and I contacted the manufacturer of the vehicle and asked them if I need Internet Explorer to open the file, and I need to get all that technical information to service my vehicle, and I can't.
What's the extension on the file after the dot? What's the 3 letters?
Well, it starts as Start PDF.
Okay, so all you need is Edge, which you should already have. Microsoft's latest browser, the Edge browser, reads PDF files. That's a standard file format. It stands for Portable Document Format. And it was created by Adobe, although it's kind of an open standard now. Have you tried just double-clicking the file to see if Edge opens up?
What it does is Adobe takes me to Edge, and then I click on Edge, and I'll hear the CD start up and run, and then the CD freezes.
CD. Can you copy it off the CD onto the? Mike is making the universal gesture for copying a file from a CD to a hard drive. Is that? I think that's
that was indeed.
That's what
yes.
I thought. Yeah. Can you copy it to this? It might be. I'm afraid it might be copy. In fact, I'm sure it's copy protected because
I think it is because it won't. I tried making training from the C drive to the D drive to the C drive.
Right.
And it won't let me do it.
Yeah.
And I contacted the manufacturer, and they're telling me that this program will only run in Microsoft Internet Explorer.
Yeah, I know what they're doing, and it's horrible. It's evil. It's mighty nasty. They have, in order to keep people from taking the manual, for crying out loud, this is that whole right to repair issue. Did you pay a lot of money for the manual?
Sure did.
Yeah. So in order to keep people from distributing it, which they should because you already bought the truck, they've copy protected it. And what they've done is they copy protected it in days gone by when people still had Internet Explorer and a technology called ActiveX, which allowed them to create an ActiveX control that would prevent you from copying the file or reading the file except with Internet Explorer and this control built in. Was there software on the CD that you were supposed to install?
I didn't see anything. I purchased the older, like a 2004 version, and it ran perfect in PDF for my previous truck. And
as it should. Yeah, as it should. Yeah, it's copy protected. I think there's a couple of things you could do. I would search Google for a way around the copy protection, which I'm sure somebody has figured out. You bought it. You should be able to put it anywhere you want and read it anywhere you want. What you don't want to have to do is install Windows 7 on your computer so that you can read this thing. And I'm guessing this is the vintage that this, if it's on a CD, it might be Windows 95 for all I know. There should be some software on there. I'm wondering if maybe because in the era that CD was created, it would auto-run and that software would automatically install and you wouldn't even have to think about it, and then it would be on your system. Wow. They're doing some sort of number on this.
Yeah, and I tried doing the auto-run, but I'm not sure if that's a feature you can turn on and off on Windows 10.
You can't. So if it is auto-run, there'll be a file, autorun.inf, on the CD. And you might be able to open that up. And inside that will be the instruction for what to run. And I think it will be a program on the CD. There'll be an exe file on the CD that is what you need to unlock that thing.
Yeah. I tried looking for the going into the subfolders and things like that. I can see PDF files that I can click and open.
But just not the manual, just not the one you want.
Yeah, just not the manual. The one that shows me or tells me the procedures on how to fix my car.
Yeah. And so Ford's answer to you is you need Internet Explorer. That's not really the full answer. You do have Internet Explorer on there. I mean, you could try it.
I have several older laptops. They're like 10 years, 12 years old. And they will open on those old laptops. But like you said, they're old laptops. And I want to use this in the future. And I don't know how long those hard drives are going to last on the old laptops.
Yeah, what you really want to do is copy the files over to the hard drive so you don't even need the CD. It's amazing. They still sell a CD. You know, very few computers come with CD players anymore. This is vintage technology, even though it's only a few years old. Yeah. I'm trying to think of probably what there is. What are the other PDFs that you can open, the ones in subfolders? Do they have instruction manual stuff in them? I'm wondering if they're chapters, and that the master PDF is the one that you can't open. You might be able to get what you want from those little PDFs, yes or no?
They're mostly diagrams, images.
Oh, okay. They're things the PDF pulls in, but not the information that you really want.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing you might try, somebody in the chat room is suggesting, Joe again, Joe's at it again, is maybe trying to save the files on your older computer. I don't think this will work. I think this copy protection you got to defeat the copy protection.
Yeah.
It's just really frustrating.
Well, it's one of those going to have me scratching my head for a while so I can figure this out. If not, I'm just have to call the manufacturer up and call my credit card company and just say...
Yeah, they're selling something that's not usable on a modern computer, which is pretty bad. You can run older versions of Windows in a virtual box, right? So that might be the other way to do it, is get VirtualBox, which is free from Oracle, and install Windows XP or whatever your older machines have. I'm thinking Windows 7.
Yeah.
And then open it in the virtual container. That actually would be the closest to, getting the job done. And then you wouldn't infect your modern computer with old versions of Internet Explorer or worse ActiveX controls, which are kind of dangerous. Yeah, I'm surprised they don't do an up-to-date version of this, Diego. It's because it's old. And, gosh, the fact that they sell it on a CD is awful. It's awful. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Johnny Jett is going to tell us how he saved $280 after booking United flights to Hawaii. Coming up. Right, Johnny?
That's right. How did you know?
I don't know. I just read your mind. I could tell. How are you today?
I'm hanging in there. All of us are sick.
Oh, no. Just the flu, though, right? Nothing.
I don't think it's a flu. I just think it's a cold.
Oh, cold. Okay.
Oh, rhinovirus.
We went down to San Diego, actually Carlsbad, stayed at the Omni Resort, La Costa.
Oh, nice.
And then Legoland's 15 minutes away.
Oh, I love Legoland.
So we went to Legoland, and of course,
I bet Jack loves it.
Oh, they love it there. But my daughter's on the slide
Is she
high.
she slid down on some germs.
No, she puts her mouth on the handlebar. And we're just like, no. So 2 days later, she has a fever. The next day, my son has a fever. And now my wife and I are getting it.
Oh, Lord. Oh.
And I think it's from that, but who knows?
Yeah, I think that sounds about right.
I would think so. We'll have to ask Dr. Mom.
I saw some stats that said the flu's been very mild so far because everybody's still wearing masks.
I mean, last year it was non-existent.
Yeah.
In Australia, it was non-existent for 2 years in a row. So I'm hoping we follow Australia, because they just came out of their flu season.
I got to get my shot still. I'm going to get this.
I did get mine.
Did you? Yeah. I get it every year. I didn't for a while, but then somebody explained to me what the flu feels like, and I started getting the shot. It's like, okay, I don't want that. That sounds awful.
Yeah.
Awful. He's been everywhere, man. He's breathing the mountain air, man. He's our traveling guy. I'm talking Mr. Jonathan Jett. He is travel guru.
Not Jonathan.
Not Jonathan.
No, I think I put my foot down there.
Okay. Jackie Jett?
Although I did the news this week, CBS LA, and the host called me Jimmy Jett. And I was like, oh.
Jimmy Jett.
Jimmy Jett. I like Jimmy Jett. Anyway, Johnny Jett is here. As you know, he's our guy who helps us travel better with technology. His darn LA Dodgers beat my San Francisco Giants, but we're still friends. Although I am wearing now a Boston Red Sox cap.
Well, now we can't be friends.
So you all went to Carlsbad and caught the cold. Sorry about that.
Yep, we went to La Costa Resort and Spa, and then we went to Legoland. My daughter,
I love
put her
Legoland.
mouth on the handlebar of one of the slides, and we were like, "It's over." And 2 days later, sure enough, she had a fever, and now we're all dealing with it.
Yeah, when my kids were little, I never let them go in those McDonald's playgrounds or anything like that because I knew.
I'm with you. Usually I would wipe it down, but it was up high. And I didn't want to do that.
What are you going to do?
Listen, one of my son's first flight, he licked the window. And my wife and I looked at each other like, are you kidding me? You licked the window.
Yeah, you always know when you see a minivan with a lot of stickers and kind of a smeary window, there's little kids in that car.
Oh, totally.
So you enjoyed
flying,
Carlsbad? Was it nice?
Oh yeah.
It's beautiful.
That resort is beautiful.
Yeah.
And weather was great. And
This
Legoland's always fun for those
this
kids.
is the kind of travel we're doing these days. Is kind of local travel. There's beautiful places in this country, and see America first.
Agreed. Although I was supposed to be in New York this week because United Airlines invited me to a party where they're announcing their 8 new transatlantic routes for next summer, which are actually really exciting routes. They're going to Mallorca in Spain. They're going to the Azores. They're going to Canary Islands. These are places that people dream about. And I think they're just banking on people really want to escape, and they're hoping that this summer is it where they can fulfill their dreams. So we'll see what happens on that. They're also going to Bergen in Norway, which I've been to. I think you've been to.
Bergen is really a pretty town. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Nice.
So there's all kinds of things. But also the big news this week was Southwest. They had a huge debacle starting over the weekend last week, and they're still going into it. I've just looked at FlightAware.com. It tells you all the delays and cancellations. I think right now Southwest still has 350 flights delayed today. But over the week, I mean, there were over 2,000 cancellations.
What happened?
Once they start canceling, I mean, there was numerous rumors. I think it was a combination of things. First of all, Jacksonville had a little bit of weather. And Southwest systems, they're on a point-to-point. And once they get out of sync, it's tough. It's like a domino effect. It's tough to get back on track. Also, there was rumors about the pilots calling sick because they didn't want to do the vaccine mandate, which is coming up. That's another rumor, and which I've actually heard some of it is true. And then the real reason is because Southwest has just been too aggressive with their scheduling. They started flying to all these different new places, and it's just not.
It's the story of our modern economy. In manufacturing, they call it just in time, where you do everything right to the edge. It's great as long as everything goes well and everything's efficient. But then if something falls apart, the whole thing, and that's why we have the supply chain issues right now, and all sorts of goods are unavailable. And I think it's kind of the same thing with airlines. They're maximizing efficiency, which is all well and good as long as nothing goes wrong.
Definitely. And I think they're short on staff as well. A lot of people are quitting jobs.
I just drove by the post office in town. Did you see that, Micah? They've got people outside with balloons saying, come take a job at the post office. We're desperate. We're hiring. I don't know where all the workers went. Where have all the workers gone? But they're not going back to work.
Well, one of my friends who owns a big hotel in Northern California said a lot of the workers left hospitality and went to construction because there's always work. There's always
work there. It's so funny you should say that because I went to one of my favorite restaurants in San Rafael, California this week. I thought they were open. They've been closed for construction for almost a year. And they said, we're opening tonight, but we can't open for lunch because we can't get enough people behind to cook. They're all going to construction.
Yep, that's what I've heard from multiple people.
Interesting.
Definitely.
Wow. Okay.
But speaking of flying, United, I pulled the trigger. I bought tickets to Hawaii. I talked about them last week. There are $85 fares to Hawaii.
You did it. Wow.
I did for January.
Go. We're off. We're gone. See ya.
Well, when you're traveling with little kids, I like to have comfort. I like to take the bulkhead. So once you buy those $85 tickets and then you try and get a good seat, it adds on another whatever it is, $80 per person. Then you got to check a bag.
No.
So then I noticed the business class fares were only $5 something, which is really cheap for Hawaii.
Yeah.
It's a lie flat seat Polaris.
I know. I've flown it to Hawaii when we went. It was great.
It includes bags. It includes a seat assignment. It includes food. So I bought them. And then I set a fare alert, which I've talked about fare alerts before, about setting them in advance, but you should also set them afterwards, especially now because all the airlines have waived their change fees. So 2 days later, I get a fare alert saying that my fare went down $280. So I was like, what?
What?
So I called up United. I said, hey, can I rebook this flight? And the guy's like, yeah, I can, but it's going to cost you $50 per person if I do it. If you do it online, it's free. So I went online, and I couldn't do the same exact flight, but I chose one a day or two before, and I rebooked it. And now we're all going to Hawaii. I saved $280, and it's because I set that fare alert.
And the good news is the windows are cleaner. So when Jack licks the windows...
Listen, we're getting on the plane first. We're wiping it all down, and then... And he knows now. And plus, they'll be wearing a mask, so they'll be licking their mask.
Okay, that's fine. Lick the mask all you want. So this is why you go to JohnnyJett.com, you subscribe to his travel newsletters. These little things like this, man, you got to work the system, but they can save you a lot of money.
You do. And another tip you want to do is update your Google Maps this week, because they've now started telling you how crowded New York subways are.
Oh, yes, I saw that.
Which is huge for, during COVID. I was in New York City during January of 2020 at a conference where someone's like, I just came back from Wuhan. I was like, what? I just read about Wuhan.
Dear. Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
But anyway, I stayed off the subways because, it was flu season.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be on a crowded subway, but now you can tell if it's going to be crowded or not. I love that feature. So I think it's important for people to download it. They also tell you the temperature of the train. They'll tell you if there's security on the train. It's a pretty neat update.
Nice. Google Maps. You should get that automatically eventually, but if you want to use it now, you can force the update.
Yes.
Very cool. Is that on iOS and Android? I bet it is.
Yes.
Yeah. Very cool. Anything else?
I
got a minute.
There's always things. So Australia, again, just moved it up. Last week we talked about they moved it up. They moved it again. This now November 1st. They're going to start flying internationally. So Australians can now go to London. They can come to the U.S. So that's huge. Other news, actually, we can talk about your cruise because the Beach Boys are having a cruise in March. So I thought this would be a good little way to plug your cruise, which is coming up.
Wait a minute, the Beach Boys cruise?
Yeah.
How can I compete with a Beach Boy? Oh, we got a tech guy cruise. Doesn't have the same ring to it. Where are the Beach Boys going in March? No, I don't think so either. Where are they going?
I think it's the Caribbean.
We're going to Alaska. So there. If you want to know more, it's we got, I think, 110 people now. We're 110 people. If you want to know more, cruise.twit.tv. It's the Twit Podcast Cruise with me and Paul Thurrott, our Windows Weekly guy, and it's going to be so much fun. And Alaska, I can't wait to see the glaciers. There's one, Johnny Jett, there's one excursion where you get to mush a dog team across a glacier. Does that sound awesome?
That sounds pretty awesome.
Thank you, Johnny Jett.
Thank you.
JohnnyJett.com, on the Twitter @JohnnyJett. Beach Boys are going to Kokomo, Aruba. You should. I set you up, man. I set you up. Aruba.
I was gonna say that.
Jamaica.
I wasn't sure.
You could say that. That would be funny. Anyway, I'm sorry y'all got the colds.
Yes,
but.
My mother-in-law was like, "You guys got to go get tested." I'm like,
"No,
we probably should get tested," but I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's not COVID.
It's just a cold. Yeah.
I can taste everything. One thing.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I just found out my nephew years ago had a bug, and he still can't taste anything. It wasn't COVID, but it was years ago.
Are you serious?
I know.
That's
That's horrible. But I was thinking maybe if they had a shot for that, I would do it because I can't, if I didn't like to eat.
Exactly. If I lost my taste of chocolate.
Yeah, wouldn't that be
butter,
awesome? Yeah.
I would be like, what?
Yeah. This chocolate doesn't taste like anything. I guess I won't eat any more of that.
Later. Yeah.
How do you do it, Micah? You don't eat a lot.
I just don't like food.
See?
I don't like eating.
See?
If I didn't have to eat, I wouldn't.
And me, my head's getting bigger.
You know what I forgot to mention, which is also the really big news, is that they did announce the opening date. It's now November 8th for foreigners to be able to come in.
To the U.S.
To the U.S. on the land border and the air border.
The land border was closed, but the air border was open, I thought. No?
It was, but not to every country. No, the EU was not. For China, Brazil.
Good.
But if you're vaccinated, fully vaccinated, they can come on November 8th. So predict those TSA checkpoint numbers to go up probably a week later. They were actually pretty big yesterday. They were 2 million yesterday, which is not a holiday
Do we
weekend.
get a lot of international tourists?
Definitely. Well, we used to. Not right now.
Where do they like to go?
New York City's number one.
No, and then Miami probably number. I know the Brits like to go to
Florida, California.
Yeah.
Those three are the most popular.
Interesting.
And Hawaii, definitely.
Gosh, it's such a long flight. Oh, not for Australians, yeah.
The Australians is 10 hours.
Easier, yeah. All right, JJ.
All right.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Have a great week.
Jimmy. Have a great week. See you later.
Bye.
Are you promoting the Beach Boys cruise on my show?
Is there a song about Alaska?
Sitka, Juneau, Ketchikan. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888. Ask Leo the phone number. Wayne's on the line from San Diego. Hello, Wayne.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for taking my call, Leo.
I'm grateful you called.
Wonderful. My new bride and I.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. We just purchased a new Apple Mac with the M1 chip in it. We are looking for a program to manage we're merging our finances and investments and things.
Yeah.
And we're looking for recommendations on a program to manage and maintain that information.
So it's interesting because in the early days of personal computing, that was the number one thing people wanted to do with their new Commodore 64s or their Apple II computers is, balance their checkbook. And so there were a lot of programs. There was Quicken by Intuit, Microsoft Money, many, many more, but they've all kind of gone by the wayside. Quicken is still out there, and I think Quicken is probably the only program that, the most popular, certainly on the Macintosh. The only drawback to Intuit's Quicken is they charge you every year, in effect. They do an update every year, and you almost have to buy the update. So it's just something to be aware of. I'll tell you what's replaced all of that is online sites like Mint. Personal Capital is the one I use. There are a lot of sites that will aggregate all of your stuff. They'll call your bank, over the internet, and download the statements. They'll get your statements from your investment accounts and all that stuff, and they put it all together in, I think, very nice graphs with no effort on your part. So Mint is free on iOS and Android. All of them are free, and the reason is in every instance, they're putting an ad or two up based on what the program is telling them. So Personal Capital will offer you a better, higher interest savings account, for instance, or Quicken will say, Mint will say, you really should be getting this credit card because it's better than the one you're using, that kind of thing. I don't mind those ads. They're not intrusive. You can close them. But and I really like the information. Mint, which is owned by Intuit, the company that made Quicken originally, they sold off Quicken because they said, no, this is the future. This is automated stuff. So sometimes people get nervous because with these programs, you have to give them the credentials to your accounts to log in. But you should be reassured that they always use the same back ends that banks use. They're very secure. You're not really giving the company that information. They're using a back-end server that is a third-party server that's often used by big banks. They already in other words, they already know all that stuff. I really like Mint. I would take a look at mint.com. But if you want to do it by hand, in the old school way, Quicken.com is easily the best known. There have been a number of other Mac apps. I think there was one called Kaching, which I like. I like the name, but they're all from kind of individual app developers, and who knows how long they'll stick around and that kind of thing. And Quicken. I always confuse the two because Quicken used to be from Intuit. Quicken is probably the best known.
Leo, one last question.
Yes. By the way, congratulations.
Thank you.
It's wonderful.
Do Personal Capital and Mint work both on the Mac and my HP laptop?
Yes, because they have a web interface. So there's apps on iOS and Android, and then there's a website you can go to. I would look at mint.com. And just to see, the nice thing about it is you don't have to do anything. Once you set up all the accounts, it just kind of does it. It'll show you graphs. It actually does budgeting automatically because they know most, when you buy something at JCPenney's, they'll allocate it towards clothing. I don't think you can buy anything at JCPenney's anymore. But if you did, they would allocate it toward clothing. They do a pretty good job of budgeting. You can refine it, obviously, and do a better job. I think that these things, because they're so automatic, really save you a lot of time. They're really more about it. I guess it depends on why you want to do this. We in the early days, everybody would say, I want to balance my checkbook, make sure the bank's not making any mistakes. Never did find any mistakes on the part of the bank. And if they made mistakes, they fix them because they get audited themselves. So, JCPenney's is still in business. I'm sorry. They just closed here. That's all.
In some places. Very few places.
St. Joe, do they have a JC? Yeah, they still do. Okay. Businesses we use Intuit has QuickBooks, and we use that as a business, but I think that's overkill for a family. Quicken is pretty easy to use, but it's not free, and you will, as I said, have to update it regularly. Try Mint. See if you like it. I think it'll give you a good idea of where you stand. I use Personal Capital. They were a sponsor for quite a while, and I still use them. And I like it because it tells me where my retirement is and things like that. And it automatically updates as the market updates, things like that.
Right, of course. We'd like to say very much thank you for your help today, and we want you to know that we really do love your show. And we look at each week.
Wayne, what's your wife's name?
Betty.
Hi, Betty.
Hi, Lee.
Betty and Wayne, congratulations on your nuptials.
Yeah. Thank you.
Will you ever get to go on a honeymoon? I shouldn't laugh.
Maybe we'll go on a cruise to Alaska.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I'd love that if you did. I'd love to see you.
We'd love to see you, too.
Thank you, guys. Great to talk to you. Congratulations again. I think it's the whole idea of, gosh, I remember doing this for years. You would log into your bank and you would download the transactions.
Go to one by one.
One by one, you'd go through them. You'd categorize them all and you'd budget them and then make a nice graph for you. And you go, yep, the bank got it right again this month, every month. Those days, I just don't see much of an advantage. Some people really like to do that. And if you do, I think Quicken is the king still, Windows and Mac. But if you don't want to, take a look at least Mint. Go to mint.com, I think is the address. It's owned by Intuit, the folks who invented Quicken. And I think it pretty much does everything you'd want to do. Maybe I'm out of touch on this, but I just feels like nobody in your generation does banking software.
No, they don't
right?
use that part of it. They'll have the little apps that do their budgets where it's not directly pulling, you put in amounts and things, but I don't know a lot of people who are going as far as to have them connected to their bank account and their retirement and this and that and having all that information pulled in. It's sort of their own manual budgeting system that is based on, a basic app that you have.
What are they? So there are apps, and I see a lot of these, and I think, people under 30, if it's not an app, forget it, right? But I see a lot of apps that are supposed to be like Acorn and stuff like that are supposed to kind of help you plan for the future and things like that. What do people use? What do you use?
So I don't use.
You're an old man. You don't.
Well, but I'm and when it comes to this, I'm also not an old man. I guess I'm a no man because I don't use any of those kinds of apps either. But I do see other people. Yes, they'll use something like Acorns or Robinhood or one of those where
they can invest.
But they can also keep track. And then it also works to keep track. I don't personally like the other applications that are available, like Mint, for example, simply because for me, I don't want to
You're
have
nervous about privacy?
all those notifications that are coming in.
Oh, the notifications.
Yeah, the financial suggestions where they're sending out my stuff to different people. But
it's really funny because they also don't apply to on the other end of the scale because, for instance, Personal Capital saying, well, you don't have any loans? Come on, you have some loans. You must have some loans. No, I have no loans. No, but you must have some loans. And they keep bugging me. Enter your loans. I don't have any loans.
What do you want from me?
What are you paying off your credit cards? What are you, nuts? What are you, crazy? So, yeah, I think it just depends which end of the spectrum you are in your financial life. Mm-hmm. My kids like things like Acorns. They like stuff where it can help them invest and keep an eye on.
And a lot of these modern banking systems that people are using. Paul was talking about his online bank. I've got an online bank, and they have automatic things built in where it rounds up the purchases.
Right. Oh, I like that too. Yeah, QuickBooks is not really appropriate for individuals, I don't think. Tech Guy Podcast brought to you quite literally this week by our CDN, CashFly. CashFly's content delivery network has been innovating on content delivery since 1999. I know we've been using it for more than a decade. When you download the podcast on your phone, on your website, our website, you're getting it from CashFly, which means that content is coming to you from a server that's nearer to you than us, saves us money delivering it all the way to you, saves you time, you're going to get it faster. That's what a CDN does. But CashFly is so much more than just a CDN. They've just added something brand new, which I think is amazing. I didn't even know you could do this. Ultra low latency streaming. I'm not talking about WebRTC, that solution that's let us down so many times in the past. Stream delays on CashFly's ultra-low latency streaming, less than 1 second. 1 second latency, less. Plus, they've got a great HTML5 player you can embed anywhere. They've got an SDK so you can put it on your mobile devices, on websites, any application, any platform. They got you covered. CashFly is absolutely the fastest CDN for throughput globally, over 50 points of presence all over the world. And on their low latency network, your video streams will be streaming quickly no matter where your viewers are, regardless of what continent there are. And man, does it scale. You can deliver video to more than 1 million users at the same time. You can ingest thousands of streams synchronously, RTMP, RTMPS, SRT, and deliver ultra-low latency SLDP or HLS streams at the same time as you're ingesting. It's a solution that is perfect for you, and I know that because CashFly tailors it to exactly your needs. This is one of the things we love about CashFly. Our usage is very spiky. You know, when a new show comes out, everybody downloads it, and then it slows down the rest of the week, and then it picks up again. And CashFly smooths those spikes out. In fact, what I would do if I were you, if you've got, apps you deliver or content you deliver, if you want to stream, find out what CashFly can do for you. We've got a no cost, no obligation assessment of your current usage trends, your current CDN bill, to see either if you're overpaying or you need the capabilities of CashFly. Go to twit.cashfly.com right now and get a custom-built solution based on your needs. And by the way, with CashFly, you also get the best support in the business. I love these guys. 24/7, 365 days a year. They're always there when you need them. They've been doing a lot of great work with World Central Kitchen. This is a chef who's bringing food to people in need during the COVID crisis. Good going, CashFly. I've always felt a bond, frankly, with these guys. When Matt Levine came to us years ago and said, I can help you get your content out to your listeners, I was so pleased, and we've never even considered going anywhere else. CashFly pioneered the first Anycast CDN infrastructure way back in 2002. Their best hop technology automatically finds the fastest route to and from customer origin across their global network of POPs, giving you maximum reliability, maximum performance. See if you're overpaying 20% or more for your CDN. See what you can do at CashFly. twit.cashfly.com. No pressure, just information. Bring your usage trends and your current CDN bill to twit.cashfly.com. Thank you, CashFly, for making the Tech Guy possible. Now back to the show we go. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy. Time to talk computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smartwatches, Apple computers. Monday, big event. Apple, we don't know, Apple never pre-announces what they're going to do, but they're going to have, I think, the announcement of their latest laptops, maybe a new Mac Mini as well. We can talk about that. 8888 Ask Leo is the phone number if you want to call in and ask a question, make a comment, make a suggestion. I'm joined, as I will be from now on, I think on Saturdays, by my good friend Micah Sargent. So it's two tech guys. And if that means double the brains, at least, maybe triple. If you have a question, this is a good time to call. 8888 Ask Leo. All the answers to all the questions go at techguylabs.com. We even put audio and video from the show after the fact up there. If you hear something, you don't have to write it down. James DeRuvo, official scribes, writing it down for you. And you'll find it at techguylabs.com, the website. That's free, by the way. There's no sign up. Others may charge, but I give it away. Paul's on the line from Santa Monica, California. Hello, Paul.
Hey, hi, Leo. How are you?
I am great. How are you?
Very good, very good. I'm sitting by the coast, just enjoying the view as I'm talking with you.
I am so jealous. So nice. Lisa and I were thinking of maybe going down and spending a weekend at the Casa del Mar or Shutters or something down on the beach down there. I love Santa Monica.
Excellent idea.
What can I do for you?
Well, I not too long ago, I bought a MacBook Air, and I was thrilled with it. And then I went to go and use a program that I've been using for years for word processing, Libre Office.
Yes.
The newest version of Libre, uploaded it, and I'll tell you, it just didn't work. It wouldn't save things. It wouldn't save documents to files. I could write with it and all, and I wondered if there was something. My older MacBook Air, no problem.
Yeah.
So if there was something new.
Yeah. So here's the issue: LibreOffice, which is wonderful, and I highly recommend it. It's an open source Office suite that I think competes very well against the much more expensive Microsoft Office. Certainly, if you get a Linux, you'll be running LibreOffice in most cases. But I think there was a little curve thrown when Apple left the Intel family and started making its own silicon. You're using a Mac with the new M1 chip. We were just mentioning Apple's going to announce new Macs with more Apple silicon.
Right.
And I think that they are, let me just check. Last I saw, they had not yet updated it. Now, this post is from last year, almost a year ago. And it looks like they may not have updated it yet, which means it'll run, but it's running in Rosetta, which is Apple's compatibility layer that lets Intel versions of programs run. Let me just... What do you see, Micah?
Yeah, I'm seeing the same thing. My question for you is, you are able to launch the application, correct? It's just that you can't save files?
Correct. Yeah, which is really weird, right? I could launch it, I could write with it, but when I went...
Oh, I think I know. So one of the things that happened, and are you on Big Sur?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, the newest, is that the newest?
Yeah, it's the newest. One of the things that happened with it started with Catalina. Well, there was a number of problems. One, Catalina stopped working with 32-bit apps. I don't know if LibreOffice is yet 64-bit. That could be one problem. But the other thing is they did change. I think they changed the way files are saved, in particularly permissions. An app now, in order to see folders and save files to folders, explicitly has to ask for permission. This is a security feature. But what I'm guessing is maybe LibreOffice didn't know that because it didn't used to have to do that. And if they haven't updated it, it might not have asked for permission. So the question is, how can you override that and give it permission? And I suspect the best way to do this is to go into the accessibility system preference pane and give whichever program you want it to, all of them if you want, but you have to do it one by one, give them what's called full disk access. Yep. So there's an accessibility control panel, and it's in there. And I think you're going to have to do that. Modern apps are supposed to say, I want to save to the documents folder. You'd think they'd be automatically able to, but no, Apple has decided I think for probably good security reasons, that each app has to ask for permission. Once you give it permission, it keeps it, but you can manually do that. I'm sorry, it's not in accessibility, it's in security. I apologize, it's in security.
Security.
Yeah. And you have to go to the tab that it's in because there's a lot going on in that security system preference pane. But give it full disk access, and I think that will solve it.
Okay, I will try that because I was happy with the computer, but if I can't use it with what I use for work.
No, you should be able to. It's just Apple has changed things. Now, Scooter X has given me. Yeah. In fact, we'll put a link in the show notes to this Libre Office security post. It says, give it full disk access. And apparently, get this, macOS resets the permission on each update. So you're going to have to do this each time. Go into security and privacy. On the last tab there is privacy. That's why I was thinking accessibility. It's privacy. And you'll see among the privacy settings, there's accessibility, speech recognition, but there's also full disk access. And you're going to have to unlock that, with your admin password, and then press the plus button. And then for each app in the Libre Office, because there are multiple apps, you're going to have to give them full disk access. Actually, in LibreOffice, they say just give LibreOffice.app. Okay, so on the Mac, I guess they've combined it into one app. And then turn on full disk access. You have to re-grant that every time there's an update, apparently.
Okay.
All right.
I thank you. I'll try that.
I'm glad you asked because I didn't know that either. But it's good to know. I think LibreOffice, everybody should take a look at. It's a little different on the Mac because you also have the free Apple iWork suite, which is a very good suite. But if you want Microsoft Office compatibility, something a little more like Microsoft Office, you don't need Microsoft Office. LibreOffice is a great open source free solution. Except occasionally there's little issues like this. 8888 Ask Leo. Thank you, Mike. I'm glad you're here. I could have gotten that completely wrong. Mike is paying attention. When you hear the little synthesizer in the background, hear that? Mm-hmm. Do you think somebody's got a balloon and is just letting the air out?
That'd be great. That's how they first did it.
8888, it's just me. Maybe it's just me. 8888 Ask Leo. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, Micah Sargent. Joining me this week, Jerry on the line from Great Falls, Montana. Hello, Jerry.
Hello, Leo. Thank you.
Thanks for calling. What can I do for you?
The Apple TV 4K, are there benefits of that compared to Roku?
Oh, well, so you have a 4K TV, I presume, right?
Yes.
Yeah, there'd be no benefit if you didn't. I think, so Apple is more than twice as expensive for 4K. The Roku Ultra is about $100. Apple's about almost $200. What Apple does do, I guess, is they have a better processor and more RAM, so maybe it's a more capable little computer. The whole point of both of these devices is to connect to the internet and then give you internet streaming channels on your TV. Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, that kind of thing. I think unless you buy a lot of stuff on iTunes or you use or Apple TV Plus, if you use Apple products, the Apple TV might make sense. If you're not hugely sensitive to the additional $80 you'll spend, I think the Apple TV is definitely a better product than the Roku. Roku has had problems in the past with Google and others about carrying their content. And these carriage battles really are hard on the nerves. I don't know if in the long run they make that much difference, but there's always this feeling like, on Sunday, we're not going to be able to watch YouTube TV anymore and things like that. They usually resolve these, but Roku seems to be prone to these. Apple does not for some reason. Maybe because they have a lot of money. I don't know. I honestly think the Apple TV, do you use Macintosh computers?
No.
Okay, that would be the other reason, because you can AirPlay from a Mac to an Apple TV very easily. But if you don't have Mac computers, what do you want to watch?
iPhone.
You have an iPhone. Okay, well, you can AirPlay from the iPhone. You can, if you put music on your iPhone, you can send it to your TV and have it play. If you have better speakers on the TV, have it play from there, things like that. What do you primarily want to do?
So right now we have Hulu that we get through the TV, smart TV.
Yeah.
And we stream the news programs. And somebody told me that through the Apple TV, I can't stream news programs.
Depends on what you stream from. If you're doing, for instance, CBS, there's an app. So all of these programs have to come from an app if you're doing it what they call over the top through the internet. So Apple, I don't know of any app that's on, say, Roku that's not on Apple TV. I think Apple TV has every mainstream app. There are a lot of, what do you use to stream your news? Hulu. Yeah, no, I think you'll be fine. Anything you can do on the Roku with Hulu, you could do with the Apple TV. But honestly, if you're happy with how it's working with your smart TV, I don't know if you need another box.
But somebody's telling me that the Apple TV is only for movies. It won't stream.
No, they're wrong. You can watch Hulu on it and everything else on it. Everything you're doing on your smart TV, you can do on the Apple TV.
Same thing.
Yeah. In fact, it'll probably do it a little bit better, to be honest with you.
Okay.
But you may not need it. I mean, it sounds like you've got all that stuff anyway, right?
Okay.
Yeah, but if there's something that's not on your TV, here's the problem with smart TVs. They don't put, as I was mentioning earlier today, they don't put the smartest, fastest chips in there because they want to save money. The software is almost always created by the TV company, not by the by the other companies, and so the software sometimes lags behind what you'd see on an Apple TV or a Roku. I think often the applications are better on the Apple TV than anywhere else. I've had less trouble with an Apple TV, but it's just a little bit more expensive. So this is kind of what Scott was a question Scott was answering earlier today in the first hour. I've always said Roku just because it's cheaper and it has all the channels you'd want. Only get an Apple TV if you're in the Apple ecosystem, which means you're buying a TV or movies on iTunes, or you want to AirPlay from an Apple device. But if you're not in the Apple ecosystem particularly, I think Roku, save $80. Get the Roku Ultra. It's a pretty nice device. I'm very happy with it. 8888 Ask Leo is the phone number. I did mention Apple has having an event this week, but it's going to be a crazy week because Apple. So the timing is interesting. I think Google announced first that they were going to announce their new phone, the Pixel 6, on October 19th, Tuesday. At which point Apple seems to have said, oh, hold on, hold my beer. We're going to do it on Monday. So there. And then Samsung kind of, I think Samsung's like the little brother running along behind him going, wait, we can do an event on Wednesday. So we've got 3 events this week. We're going to start kick it off.
Samsung is Peggy of the Schuyler sisters.
I'm Peggy. Monday is the Apple event, not Apple TV event. Although, they've been rumored to have an Apple TV. They might be announcing a new Apple TV. I don't think so. My guess is they'll announce a 14 and a 16-inch MacBook Pro running on the new Apple chips. We don't know what they're going to call it, whether it'll be M1X or M2. My guess is M1X, but we'll find out. They will also announce a new Mac Mini, also running on the same chip. And if they do what they did with the first tranche of M1 computers, they'll all have the same chip in them. They'll just be different form factors. The thing we're not expecting to see, and I wonder why not, is an iMac. Apple did release a smaller 24-inch iMac running on the M1 chip earlier this year, but they didn't update their 27-inch iMac, and they're due. And in fact, the rumor is it'll be a 32-inch. It'll have a bigger screen, smaller bezels. It'll be running on the newer chip. But no one seems to be saying they're going to talk about that on Monday. And, of course, the Mac Pro, which is the highest-end Mac, not used by mere mortals, mostly used by film editors and people designing rocket ships. I'm sure Elon Musk has one. Those very expensive Macs are probably going to get updated next year, early next year. But Monday, we'll see an Apple event. Tuesday, we'll see Google's Pixel 6. There won't be any surprises there. In fact, yesterday, they leaked an ad for it. So we know everything there's to know about the Pixel 6. Looks to be if you're an Android user and you like a clean, simple version of Android, Google has promised updates for 5 years, which is a big deal. That's unusual in Android world. That means you'll be able to use that phone securely for 5 years. It's going to have a Google-designed machine learning chip, an artificial intelligence chip, the Google Tensor chip built in. It should be a very nice phone. The cameras look like, Google hasn't done much with the cameras in the last couple of generations. I think this will be a big update for cameras. So the Pixel 6 and the Pixel 6 Pro, that's Tuesday. And then Samsung, probably going to just say, they're calling it Samsung Unpacked Part 2. Okay. I don't know. They've announced I don't think they're going to do it. They've announced all their phones, all their tablets, all their watches. I think it's just going to be, we thought we'd have an event,
Everybody else is doing it.
Everybody else is doing it. All the cool kids are having events, so we thought we'd have an event too. It'll be a busy week, and it'll be, for me, unfortunately, a fairly expensive week. I have promised a number of people new computers.
Oh, no. What have you done?
Oh, man. My nephew graduated from the Rhode Island School of Design in the spring.
Oh, congratulations.
And as he goes into his work life as a graphic artist, he needs a really nice computer. And I had told him, going to get you this new MacBook. It comes out in June. Didn't come out in June. Going to get you this new MacBook. So he's already texted me. So Monday, right? So, yes, your graduation present's coming Monday. 8888 Ask Leo. More of your calls coming up right after this. Yeah, Mike is going to do some good monologues. Have you ever been in a situation where it's just you talking? You always have a co-host, right?
Back in high school, I guess, would have been the last time when I did speech and debate.
All of your podcasts, you've had other people to bounce off of.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that?
I think I feel good about it because I guess occasionally, if you do any sort of YouTube stuff, which I've done in the past, it went well. But a little nervous about it.
Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Yeah, that's it. 8888 Ask Leo. The phone number. Professor Laura, our musical director, blowing the trombone there. Sounded good. Sounded really good. Rick's on the line from Mission Viejo, California. Our next caller. Hi, Rick.
Hi, Leo. Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for calling. What's up?
Well, we've got iDrive, partly because you recommend it so highly, and it worked for a while. And then my wife and I both got the new MacBook Pros with the M1 chip. Not only is it not backing up, but I can't access their website using Safari, Firefox, or Chrome. I type the address in, says the site can't be reached.
Okay, so that's not iDrive. That's something blocking iDrive. And when it blocks iDrive, it's blocking it backup, but it's also blocking access to iDrive's IP address. And I don't know what that is, but that's something that is not normal. Let me put it that way.
Good to know.
Yeah. So it's an interesting symptom. iDrive has a set of IP addresses. In order to back up, it has to be able to access that because it's an internet service. And it's probably in the same set. In fact, might even be exactly the same address as iDrive.com. So the fact that you can't back up and can't get to the website is interesting. Do you have any security software running on your system?
Just clean my Mac.
Okay. So disable that and see what happens. It is not unusual for malware. This happens on Windows. I don't think I've ever seen it on the Mac, but it's not unusual for Windows malware to block sites, things like antivirus sites, and maybe even presumably backup sites. If you were a ransomware guy and you were going to set off a ransomware time bomb, the first thing you do is stop your victim from backing their data up, right?
Right.
So it's always a little suspicious when I hear, I can't get to my antivirus site or I can't get to my backup site. I always worry about malware. I don't think that's going to happen on a Mac, however. But that's, something to be aware of. I think Clean My Mac,
I use Clean My Mac, and
I can't believe that would
block something. So
yeah.
Can you give us a little bit more info? You said you open Safari and you go to iDrive.com and a prompt pops up, or how do you know that the website's not loading?
It takes forever, and then it says site can't be. I get a little message that says site can't be reached.
It's being blocked.
Yep, excellent.
Do you? Wow, that's really interesting. You're not running anything on your router. There's something going on. And this is, as I said, this is not a typical experience. So It's something unique to your setup. Yeah, I don't think Clean My Mac. That's actually a fairly good program. You don't have an antivirus on there, or you're not running a special DNS. Do you use your internet service provider's DNS, or using a VPN? Anything like that?
I've been using a VPN, but I've disabled that because it doesn't let me print or go to a lot of websites.
Yeah. The problem with security software is it can sometimes really impair your ability to get things done. Yeah. You got me. I'm not sure what's wrong. Do you know how to change your DNS settings in your router by any chance? Do you know what that even means? It's kind of a geeky concept.
Yeah, I'm not. I could probably find a tutorial to how to do it, but I wouldn't know how to do it.
Yeah, this seems like a little much to do, but your what's going on here sounds like the DNS is being blocked. So something is saying when you enter in iDrive.com, normally the process is the browser goes out. First thing it does, looks on the computer. If it doesn't see it on the computer, it looks at the router. If it doesn't see it on the router, then it goes to your internet service provider. If your internet service provider doesn't know, it goes all the way up the chain to the 13 kind of root servers. But somewhere in that phone book, the literal IP address, the four dotted quads, they call it, the 192.168.1.1, that address that belongs to iDrive will show up and says, iDrive.com, you mean 168.3.4.22. Fine. And then you go there. That process has to work, or exactly the result you're getting, which is the machine churning. The amount of time that takes is the process of going all the way up that chain, saying, what is iDrive? I don't know. Something is blocking it. Your DNS server or your security software is saying, I am not going to give you an address for iDrive.com. And the problem is I don't know what it is, but it's a very strange issue. Did you run any security software at any point and take it off? Besides, whose VPN did you use? Maybe the VPN did this.
TorGuard.
Yeah, I wonder if this is a result of the VPN. Look in your network settings. Make sure you're not running a proxy server.
Okay.
So that would do it if you were running through a proxy server. The TorGuard, it sounds like, did keep you off some sites, didn't it?
It sure did, yeah.
I'm guessing it's still in there. Probably what's in there is a setting for a proxy server. So that'll be in your system preference panes, in your network system preference pane. Make sure you don't turn off any proxy servers. That may also be in the Safari settings. You could check there. Look for any extensions in Safari. Because extensions can, this is malware these days on the Mac especially isn't viruses that are, worming your way into the system. They're very often something as trivial as just a malicious browser extension that is trying to pop up ads and stuff. Something is blocking that DNS, and I'm going to guess TorGuard. Still, it's pretty hard to get these things off your system. TorGuard is still in there. It might have changed your hosts file, and that would persist even after you uninstall the software. So that's another thing to look at. The Macintosh hosts file is kind of hard to get to. It's in it's a Unix directory /etc/hosts. That's another thing to look at. But in order to change that, you're going to almost have to do that by the command line. But I wouldn't be surprised, since TorGuard was blocking sites. I think we've got the culprit. And the way it may have blocked sites would either be with a proxy server or modifying your hosts file. Getting to the host file on the Mac is a little tricky, but I'll put a link. Actually, it might be in private Etsy hosts. I'll put a link. You can Google this, how to edit your Mac hosts, HOSTS file. iMore has a little article. Lori Gill wrote it last year on how to do that. In fact, it explains this whole process. You might want to look at that too. I bet you in there is something that says, hey, if somebody wants to go to iDrive, stop them.
You can do a little troubleshooting by, if you've got a mobile device, going to iDrive's website on your mobile device. And if you're able to get to iDrive.com from that mobile device, then you know that it's something that's happened, edited on those MacBooks that are trying to access it versus it being on your router. If you can't from your mobile device, then it's something on the router that's causing the issue.
8888 Ask Leo. We'll put this also in the show notes, techguylabs.com. That's where I put all the links to stuff. I'll put links to Lori's article on editing the host file. It's kind of a geeky subject, but, it happens, and that's the problem. And this is one of the reasons I very often say do not use security software, because Windows comes with it. You probably don't need any additional software. Macintosh is so well designed, it's not usually a problem. And sometimes, a lot of times, security software actually causes more problems. Well, you had that experience. You couldn't print. You couldn't get to sites. And even now, after you've uninstalled TorGuard, you still can't get iDrive to work. That sounds almost certainly to be TorGuard's done something. Scooter X posted another link. There's another way macOS, iOS works the same way, can do this, was with profiles. And these are very sophisticated.
Be very careful about installing those.
Yeah, businesses sometimes install these device profiles, management profiles, that really can mess you up. So make sure you don't have any profiles installed either. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Yeah, that's tough. Almost certainly what happened. It's time for the Disco Man. He's going to shake his groove thing for you. Don't sprain your groove thing. We're at an age now, Dick, where it could be risky. Dick DeBartolo is here, Mad Magazine's maddest writer. He is our gizmo wizard. We call him the Giz Wiz. Hey, Dickie D.
Well, how you doing,
Did you say 76 degrees in Disneyland right now?
Yes. Yeah,
wow.
It is. And outside, too.
Oh.
Yeah, no,
in the beautiful island they call Manhattan.
That's the place
Very
I'm
nice.
at, pal.
So this is kind of the last vestiges of summer.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be 54 tomorrow.
Are the leaves falling from the trees yet, or is that...
Yeah, no, they are.
Oh.
Very annoying, but they are doing that.
That's, just glue them back up. They'll be all right. So every week, Dix joins us with a gizmo or a gadget, something I should spend some money on. What do you got for me this week?
I think you're going to like this. Okay, so a month ago, I had an embargo meeting with the folks from Anchor to talk about some new Soundcore gadgets coming out. And Tyler, who's head of PR there, told me about the Soundcore frames.
Is this Tyler here, right? Right.
Oh no! I don't think Tyler poses quite with those. Right. Nothing artsy about those poses.
These are eyeglasses with speakers in them.
Yes, 4 speakers, okay. Speaker 4 and aft of each ear so that you get a surround sound effect. And it's very easy to slide the frames off and put on different frames. Right now, there are 10 frames in the line, but they have a great website. I put a link on it on my website, where you can virtually try on all 10 frames. And it's kind of fun because it turns with you. It almost looks like the glasses are on your ears because it sort of disappears where your ear starts. So you can check them out there. Now, they're not out yet. And the reason I'm doing this is, the embargo ended, I think, Thursday morning at 9 o'clock. But between now and the end of the year, they're going to be $200, okay?
Well, but they want $1 for me to try them on.
Well, no. Wait a minute. Wait.
Don't pay them $1. Okay.
No. Pay the $1. This is the deal.
Yes.
You are getting in line to get a pair.
Oh. Okay.
If you end up buying a pair,
it's $1 off.
No. You get an additional $50 frame of your choice. Okay.
Oh, you get a second, like 2 frames.
You get 2 frames. Okay. So you have to spend $1 before the end of October 31st, and then you have to buy them between November 1st and November 10th, either at Soundcore, at Best Buy, or on Amazon.
So I'm in the process right now of giving them $1.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Which is so I'm going to mail them the $1, and then next week I'm doing it over the internet. Should be should be a lot faster. So as soon as okay. So my
oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I just now can I try them on?
Oh no, go back to the screen you were just on, and there's a little try.
There's a little try before you buy. Oh, track order. No, your order is confirmed. Well, I don't know what I'm getting for $1.
Go back to the Soundcore website.
Go back to the site, you think?
Yes, I've already clicked through.
Did you do this? Have you bought them?
No, I didn't. You don't have to pay to do the.
You don't have to pay to do it.
The frame thing is fun. No, I just take pictures. I'm just taking pictures of me wearing them and sending them out and saying.
You could even just go to soundcore.com.
I just bought it for no reason.
Well, you get 2 frames now, Leo.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I'm in for a penny, in for a pound. I got to buy the whole thing.
Yeah, so, no, you're in for a buck.
Have you tried them?
You know what? Like everything else that's not shipping, they had the frames. They did not have the working frames in time for this meeting.
Okay.
And then try.
But knowing Soundcore and knowing their lines of earbuds, which sound great. The ones that I have, I'm sure they're going to be great. So you're going to get 5.5 hours of playback on a single charge.
Okay.
You can get an hour and a half of playback on a 10-minute charge. Oh, there he goes.
Okay, that's
well,
one.
Yeah.
Let me try another pair.
What? Yeah, I can see why you went into radio and not in modeling.
Festival.
Oh, there you go.
Festival.
There you go.
Oh, definitely.
That's definitely.
No, Troy, you know what? You're an aviator guy.
Yeah, I should go with the aviator glasses.
Yeah, just keep clicking and you'll get into aviator.
I wonder what these look like. Harbor. What is that for the sailor?
Oh, those look pretty good.
Marina? No, that's not me.
No,
but the whole point of this, I get speakers in them, right? So I can listen to my music.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You get surround sound.
Can I put my lenses in this, or do I?
Yes.
So you can't.
You can order a set of frames with plain lenses in them, and then take them to your eye doctor.
Oh,
and
you
say,
like the aviators? So you think the Tour?
Yeah, I think the aviators.
Do I look like Magnum PI? There, now I got the shot.
Like Magnum PU.
So sound, and how much are they going to cost?
$199.99.
Okay.
Are
they sunglasses? Or are they?
Well, you order them. You can order tinted
you want.
lenses. You can. Well, they'll come. Like the aviator frames, obviously, are sunglasses.
Well, they're smart because even though it's only $1, I now feel like I have to buy it.
Cost.
Well,
I already am $1 in.
You could lose the $1.
Oh, no, I don't want to lose $1. All right. So Soundcore audio are instead of wearing, they don't go in your ears. They just go on your temples.
No, sit on your ear. So it's one speaker in back of your ear, and then another speaker in front of your ear.
For annoying people on public transit, right?
Can you play it really loud and bother people?
Everybody around you gets to hear.
Is your head singing? Why are you? Is your head Adele? Hello.
I'm not sure.
It's me. 5.5 hours of playback. I'm looking at your site now. Giz. Biz.
Bluetooth voice. Bluetooth 5.2.
I like Anchor's stuff. I think Soundcore makes pretty good stuff, right?
So, they make great stuff.
Yeah.
You can either change tracks by voice or swipe or touch, and on ear. On and off. So when you put them on, they go on. When you lift them up to go off, they go off automatically.
Oh, that's nice.
They look pretty neat.
So they're quadraphonic.
Quadraphonic.
Yes.
Yeah, 4 speakers.
Four
absolutely.
speakers. Now,
so that $1 thing is till the end of October.
all right. Soundcore.com. Now, Dickie D, if you go to gizwiz.biz, that's his website, has a What the Heck Is It contest, which is about to wrap up at the end of the month.
Can you believe it?
It's going so fast. I also can't believe the disgusting Mad Magazine cover that I'm about to win. Autographed. It's, what is it, horror movies? It looks like that's the girl from The Exorcist.
That is exactly it.
Yes.
Yeah. I have the Calamityville horror in that issue.
Calamityville horror.
Yeah, it's all the horror stuff we've done over like
color. Look at this.
years.
I didn't know Mad did color.
Oh, well, Mad Comics were color.
This is a comic.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
And then when Mad started taking ads, the ad people had to pay for color press, so they started doing much more color.
Ah, I like the old black and white because this is what I grew up with.
Yeah, a lot of people did.
Dick DeBartolo is Mad's maddest writer for 5 decades plus, and you can get an autographed copy of Mad Magazine if you play that contest. What the heck is it? There's lots of other fun stuff to do on the site, including a place where you can spend $1 to get in line to buy some...
Well, you can do that on your own.
Yeah, spectacles. Yeah. Thank you, Dickie D.
Okay, buddy. See you
Enjoy
next
the
week.
weather.
Yes,
He's got a nice
I will.
Hawaiian shirt on and everything. We'll see you next time. Gizwiz.biz. Don't forget his great podcast, too. Gizwiz.tv. Every week with Chad Johnson. Thank you, Dickie D.
Okay, buddy.
Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. Have a great Geek Week. Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget, TWiT, TWiT. It stands for This Week in Tech, and you'll find it at twit.tv, including the podcasts for this show. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on MacBreak Weekly, iPads, iPhones, Apple Watches on iOS Today, security on Security Now. I mean, I can go on and on and on. And, of course, the big show every Sunday afternoon, This Week in Tech. You'll find it all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next week with another great Tech Guys show. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.